Hey guys,
What's
How's
Hey,
it
up?
going?
Rick. No, what's that?
I heard
Who
that Booker and Williams and maybe Nealon are going to be playing this Saturday.
who was the second guy you said? Williams? Javante?
What's that?
Who was the second guy you said after Booker?
I said Williams and Nealon.
Oh, okay. Well, but Williams, the Sam Williams or Javante?
The
Oh, Sam. Yeah, that's good. He might be our week one defensive. No, I'm just kidding. Michael will play.
Yeah, there's no way Mike is gonna miss a game check.
I know. Mike is out here complaining that a haircut costs $200. There's no way he's missing a $1.5 million game check.
Yeah, if he was gonna sit out for a game, he wouldn't have come to camp at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake on his part. He's trying to kind of play tough guy, and unfortunately, not that I'm going to say it like a bad way, but he's trying to, get one up on the Cowboys here by holding out of training camp. But he's still there, so he's not really holding out, and it just shows you that he's not really willing to miss that money. So I don't really know what the point of it is.
Well, and Dylan, if I can jump in there, man, I totally agree. By the way, but he kind of screwed himself through March. He's like, yeah, I don't need to make the most money. I don't need to be
Oh
paid the
yeah,
most. I'm good. I'll shake your hand, Jerry, and then changing your mind, dude. I get changing your mind, but own it. That's what I tell my kids. If you change your mind, if you do something underhanded, own it. Say it.
Yep.
You get more respect from me.
yeah.
But I
And
mean,
Ben,
a 28-year-old kid.
I don't know
Is
if
he
you guys are
24?
familiar with Ben Larimore. He works for PFF, but we chat sometimes, and he had made a good point yesterday in one of Nick's spaces. Is that he said that we all put the blame on Jerry, but it kind of goes both ways because all Micah and the rest of these players have to do once the contract stuff comes up, all you gotta say is this: what did my agent say? That's it. End of conversation. What you're paying your agent 3% of your commission of your thing there of your contract to do what? Right, to make sure the language is correct and to help you sign. No, you're paying him the majority of that money to negotiate for you. So like, what are you doing negotiating when you're paying a guy to do that for you already? These players got to stop doing, and most of them I think don't do that anymore. Like, it's not the olden days where like you could go handshake with the owner and like get it done. I think the agents are obviously much more involved these days, which is good for the players. But Micah needs to know better in that situation too, and Jerry kind of got one over on him.
I agree. It's part of growing up too.
Yep.
Hey,
Yes,
Davion,
and there's nothing
everybody else
nothing
that's out
wrong
there,
with
looking
saying
out, y'all.
there's nothing wrong with saying I learned something that I didn't know before. And look, I tuned out to the Micah stuff because it just got to the point where we're the fans are left in the tug of war, and I just done it. It was too disheartening. I think it all get taken care of. I'm not clicking on any of the news bites that talk about
Hey
it.
Jared, what up, brother? Yeah, man.
On.
Colin Cowherd's a crazy man, Jared.
Yeah.
He changes his mind every 2 seconds, so I don't listen to him at all. Hopefully you guys can't hear me when I go on mute there. I'm kind of flipping back and forth between you guys and YouTube here. But y'all keep on talking. But yeah, man, Micah's he's gotta know better, and Jerry honestly should know better too. It's kind of a scummy move on Jerry's part, in my opinion, to try and corner Micah without his agent and then get a handshake deal and then not submit the offer sheet because he knew the agent wasn't going to allow that to happen. As soon as the offer sheet goes through, it's agent's gonna be, what the hell are you guys doing here? We haven't even discussed this yet. There's no way the agent's gonna be cool with that. So I think that's why Jerry didn't submit the offer sheet when he had that handshake agreement, because he knew better. He knows that the agent knows.
That must be because if I had a handshake agreement, I would have been sending that over immediately. Okay, he said this, but
Yeah.
you're probably right. He knew it was not going to be received well.
A handshake is a little different than a signature, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. Now I've been burned in it within my own job because I sell real estate, and you have verbal agreements, and then something comes up, and it goes to hell, or you have to renegotiate if it happens. Unless it's signed, it's
Yeah, didn't
you
anybody
know.
see Jerry Maguire, dude?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kush fucked him over, man.
Yep. But oh well, it'll resolve at some point. But I hope he's keeping in shape, because all I ever see him do at practice is stand near the tower. You know.
I saw a video of him supposedly running out to the field, and he had his helmet on today. Somebody said it was from today. I questioned the footage, but
Mm.
I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, my biggest worry, it's not that Micah gets signed or doesn't get signed. Like, he's either going to get signed or he's going to show up and play. Like, he'll be on the field. My worry is that he's not in shape because he won't have played any sort of football.
Is Lord going in and out, or am I tripping?
Oh. What's
Can
up?
you hear me all right?
No, it was quiet.
You're in and out. Like, you start and then you like go real low and then you come back up. It might be just me though. That's what I was asking.
No, I'm kind of catching that too, Nix. It is a little in and out for me.
Is it just Dylan, or is it all of
I
us?
think it's
No, just
mainly
Lord. No,
Dylan.
Irene, you're good, baby girl. It's just Lord was in and out.
Oh.
Is this any better? Or am I still dropping in and out?
Oh yeah, I see what you're mean. It's not
Yeah,
really,
you're
you're not
dropping.
fully dropping out. It just kind of gets a little lower.
We
Hey,
might miss a key phrase there,
Right.
Dylan. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, we're
Irene,
actually having to censor him because he's actually dropping f-bombs.
Irene, you're hosting if you can hear me. I'm trying to fix this in the background, so do your thing.
I can hear you. Okay, well, fix your thing.
My concern about Micah is I think he's very emotional, and I don't want him going into the season cowering from a loss with the owner. I want him to be vibrant, 10 sacks plus. It's going to happen, 2 a game. I want the bravado and the confidence. And so I think that's the part where you want an owner who has experience like Jerry Jones to realize this could have ramifications about their productivity on the field.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering though if it might be a good thing that he's pissed off all year too. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Good
Prove it
point.
deal
Good
kind of
point.
thing.
Well, some people perform better pissed off, man. I have an employee like that, that
Nice.
every once in a while I gotta make a comment to just kind of get under their skin, and then they do better.
What?
Jeremy, is this your
I'm not sure
bartender?
that.
That sounds healthy.
Is this your bartender? Bring me another one, bartender.
No, just you know what I mean, and nothing like mean or anything. Just enough to like, so and so's on your heels today. You know what I mean? They're my top salesperson, so like I gotta always kind of sometimes gotta motivate them with somebody's on your heels, or did you see so and so's numbers yesterday, or you know what I mean? And they, this person, she just has that kind of attitude. She's got to be a little on edge to be at her best. It's weird, but some people are like that.
I'm thinking that today's athletes aren't thinking that way. I think that they're more on board with, hey, that's a cute tactic, and that worked really well back in the '90s. But
Right.
hello.
Yeah, I might be showing my age with that story, but yeah.
Hey, I'm as old as you, but I'm starting to figure all this stuff out, partner.
Y'all youngsters.
Yeah, fair. I'm getting there. I'm not quite there yet, but
Hey, Nick, do you know what happens with the salary cap if they franchise him next year? Because they have to. I
that's
know
real money.
franchise tag. They have to pay
Yeah.
him in the top 5 of the position. But what actually happens to the
Right.
cap? You take that
Well,
full cap
and
hit.
right, yeah, that's full money, full blown money.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
like
they don't want that
there's
either.
no, there's no way to walk that out. And also, you have to be clear here. Hey, who's the guy that you just traded for?
Oh yeah, Pickens and his same agent.
Same
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah.
So how you're handling Micah right now is absolutely going to navigate how you handle Pickens.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, not ideal.
Because if you had the Micah deal done already when you made the trade for Pickens, you might have the space opportunity to go ahead and extend Pickens and be done with it. But I digress, and here we are.
Yeah, I think with if they were to franchise tag him the next 2 years after this year, he's making about $24 million, and they said it'd be right around about the same if they franchised him for 2 years after that. So it'd be around 24 to 28 million a year. So I mean,
it won't be year 2. Like year 1 will be around. No, because the new deals will come into effect.
yeah,
Right, the new deals will come into effect, so it'll probably be closer to 30 million year 1, and then year 2 will be even over that. But that's real money. That's real against your cap money.
yeah. So that's what that's 85 million right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the cap hit
what's
is
wrong
just
with
too high.
promising him, 110 for,
Hey, real quick, it's all my people. I'm seeing a lot of my people following in here and getting here. Hey, make sure, man, y'all go hit Storyliners and join that community as well. If you follow me, make sure you go jump into the Storyliners community as well.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Nick.
do
You're the
that.
man. You're the man.
Anyone who wants to talk, just let me know. Or request to speak. I'll hit you up.
Hey, can you all hear me now, or is my mic still jacked up?
No, you're fantastic, brother.
Yeah,
now you sound good, Dilly.
Man,
way better. What was the issue?
I think it's my latency, man, because I'm streaming over on YouTube as well. I think I'm just internet's getting jacked up.
Oh, wait.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, Dylan, not to change the subject, but I saw one of your gaming streams. It's pretty sweet, man.
Thanks, bro. I take it pretty serious.
And forwarded it to somebody else, and all the cool stuff to get you hits, man.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. That's my main thing I do online, man, is the gaming, streaming stuff. And then, the Cowboy stuff is my little side dealio.
Side hustle.
Yeah, it all goes to the same pocketbook at the end of the day. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I gained quite a bit. My son and I have been playing Grounded and Grounded 2 together a lot lately. It's been pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, the big one now is Battlefield coming out, so that's what everybody's getting on. Yeah. But
Battlefield soon, but
so these what do y'all think about this running back competition? I'll throw it up to you guys to kind of go through, and Irene, if you want to lead it, just in case my mic's still cutting in and out. These running backs, you got Blue, Williams, Maffa, you got all these guys. Sanders been hurt, coming back. Who do y'all think's going to be the 3 to 4? I guess it'd be 4 including Lipke. But who do y'all think they're going to be keeping on this roster?
I'll jump in there. I've been thinking about this, and last year, all last year, every time I called in, I asked Nick, "We got our running back yet? We got a running back." And then Rico finally started to come into his own towards the end. But back to this year, I'd like to think that
2 croissants, please.
It turns out to be Jaden Blue and Lipke, obviously, is a fullback and all the other roles he plays, and running back too. Maffa, Sanders. Who knows about Davis? I think those 4 would be the top. I think Davis would be 5 and Williams would be 6. I think. But who knows, man? They haven't played a game yet.
Yeah, you guys that actually went out to camp could probably tell the rest of us because we ain't seen shit.
Well, Blue looked pretty good in camp, but then he got injured.
Yeah, it's honestly it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with the running backs in camp because every run is a big run. Like you don't know what the hell, you know what I'm saying? As backup linemen, and it's hard to tell.
Team. It's touch football.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's gonna be Williams and Blue the top 2, and then I really hope they keep Maffa. I think that he could be the. He reminds me of. He's a smaller, but he reminds me of like Garrett Blount. He's like 20 pounds lighter than Blount was, but he moves very similar to him, where there's not really a lot of lateral, but there is enough lateral agility to like take one side step, make a man miss, and then speed up again. So he's got a little bit there, but I think he could be your goal line guy and whatnot. Even though Javante's not a tiny boy either, he's got some strength to him as well. So I think they're well rounded.
You remember Philip Tanner a few years
back?
Yep. Yeah. That's who he looked like to me, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, who was the running back for Tampa Bay with Warwick Dunn? It was Thunder and Lightning.
Allstott?
Yeah, Mike Allstott. He kind of, just the way he runs, Moff I'm talking about, reminds me of Mike Allstott.
He just needs some big-ass shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
really high praise.
I'm not doing a comparison. Just the way he stands and the way he moves. He's
That's
obviously a little
did you know
small.
that's why Lipke wears 40?
Is it?
That's dope.
Well,
Yeah,
I was hoping
I
it
like him even
eventually
more
will
now.
fade because
Hey,
the praise
exactly.
is awesome.
I see Nix, you got your hand up, brother. What
Yeah.
you got?
Yeah, I think with the running back room, look, I think let me ask this question real quick, really rhetorically a little bit. Is we believe in the run game this year because of the scheme, right? With Adams in the building. Is that where we at? Is that where we all kind of are right now?
I think so. I think that's the narrative.
Okay. So if that's the case, in my opinion, if that's the case, then give me Blue, give me Maffa, pick whoever you think the best. I mean, of course, the Tatanka, the Bison, Lipke, and then give me the best veteran. Whether that's if it's Williams, okay. If it's Sanders, okay. Pick one of the two, right? But I think you need to go with the guys that you drafted, along with Lipke, along with one of those veterans. And don't forget, y'all, they showed it early and then they've stashed it ever since. What did they show you early from the running back room? Was Turpin. I'm not saying he's gonna go out here and get 10 carries. I'm not saying he's gonna go out here and get 8 carries, but he might give you 4 carries a game, right? We have to look at that as well. So to me, if we're buying of the not Junior Adams, excuse me, the Adams system, that's our wide receiver coach. If we're buying on the Adams system and what really matters, then go with the guys you drafted, put a veteran in there. We got Lipke, Turpin to give you some things here and there, and roll that way, go through the season, and then figure out what adjustments you need to make. That's how I kind of look at it, because if you cut Deuce, you cut one of the veterans, and you cut even Malik Davis now, one of those three, I guarantee is going to make it back to your practice squad, period.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah,
Deuce.
I'm with you.
No, I
I
like Deuce,
want to
but I
keep
hope
one of
it's
those
not
old
him.
guys.
That experiment is well past its expiration date.
I know.
And Dylan, I will finally accept it. You've said it for a year now. I'm ready to say that we got to move on from Mozzie as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to move on from him
Not
this
this year.
year.
I mean, he
It'll
could
be
be
next
a
year.
Of course,
top,
they're not moving
dude.
on this year. I mean, as a fan, I've been
Yeah.
trying to say, maybe there's a hope, and maybe he gets in his third year and picks it up from a different coordinator, and maybe I've been very hopeful and drinking that hopium. I just, after watching him,
Outside of Osa, he's probably your best interior guy. I mean, maybe they got a few, but I want to say like a one tech, but he's not really a one tech. He's like a 3-tech, 1-tech hybrid. Mozzie is. But I mean, you don't have anybody else. Like, what are you gonna do? And it's a shame. But there is a push right now on Twitter. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but like all the content creators are going ham right now on the Mozzie praise. All of a sudden, I don't know what that's all about. But he's not very good. So I don't know what the deal is. I think it's a cut against the grain situation.
Is Lord still going in and out for you, or is it just me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can hear most. I can get the
I'm
gist of
kind
what
of
he's
catching.
saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of catching the gist of it, but I'm missing certain points. Okay, just to make sure it wasn't me.
So the last thing he was saying was he noticed a lot of content creators were
Damn.
hopping on the
this?
Mozzie train and praising them, and he
I
wasn't sure what
mean,
that was about.
well, I
Shows you
mean,
how much they know.
look. I think there's a lot of people out here that do incredible work. Be clear. But I'm also old enough to remember during that draft, there were content creators that said that Miles was going to be better than Jalen Carter. Well, I mean, so if that was your stake at the very beginning, he was going to be better than Jalen Carter, and fast forward to year 3, how do you think you want to defend that? And look, geography large has not been kind to Monty. We drafted him, right? He was just a monster 1-tech, no pass rush. That's what he does, right? You got him here. As soon as he got drafted, they told you, or they said on the press conference, well, we think he has more pass rush capabilities, other than Quinn. Let's change your stance and let's do different things. That's not his game.
And
Okay.
lose 35 pounds year
Right.
one.
I said,
Yeah,
right.
it's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what it is, right? And then you get Zim in here. Remember, he had shoulder surgery. It took him a while to get that shoulder back right and whatever. But you saw moments in a in a Mike Zimmer scheme that actually match up to what he did very well in Michigan. And there was moments to see things. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you now go to year 3 for him, and you bring in Eberflus. Hey, that's not his scheme fit either. That's why we're talking about Solomon Thomas 2-year deal, helping him, coaching him up, a wig cotton, the whole nine. But ultimately, that's just not his game. Lose some more weight, be in this shape or whatever. So it's a worse case than Byron Jones. You remember Byron Jones, right?
Oh yeah.
Corner safety corner. But he kind of did either or relatively well. That's not where Mozzie's at as the interior guy. Lose weight, gain weight, lose weight again, 3 different schemes in 2 years. It's a little bit more difficult for him. So I don't blame Mozzie for where he's at right now. Ultimately, now the content creator drama aside, I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, look, I think you should follow people that are relative in align in truth and being honest. And I mean, let me shut up. Yeah. But that part, yeah. Mozzie, not fair to him in year 3.
What you're saying there, I'll say it. This is the cynical side. I mean, I'm not cynical. Hopefully y'all can hear me now. I fixed my bit rate. Hopefully that solves the problem. But when you're a content creator and you're trying to get views and clicks, you can't just go with the wave of what everybody's saying. You got to stick out. You got to cut against the grain. So nothing sticks out more than a sore thumb than when you post a YouTube thumbnail of, wait, Mozzie's actually good, or he's not a bust, or whatever. That's my theory on why you do it, because I create content. I know that's what a lot of people do, and that's fine. Totally fine. And I think some of these guys, like Okoye, I think he's being totally genuine because he's been defending Mozzie forever. So that's cool. And I trust that guy's opinion. He knows more than I do about film. So I'm going to trust him. And I actually owe him some film, but I've been busy. But there are other creators out there who aren't as genuine. And I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you just described ESPN in the last 20 years right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And here's the thing, and be very clear. The very beginning of the content, and I was around for that in that realm. The very idea of what the Cowboys content is supposed to be is not to be ESPN. And unfortunately, guess what? Hey, I need clicks. I need this. I'm looking for this. I mean, the market is what it is, and if I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm cool on this. That he was a guy that said that he'd be better than Jalen Carter. So I got to defend it now because look, let's go and rip the Band-Aid off. AOC said he was not good in week 1. And then it turned into a whole different dichotomy and going through a bunch of tape last year, this, that, and the third, and back and forth on YouTube, and we're shooting slugs and doing like, I don't think none of that's good for the fan base, personally.
Right.
I don't. Let me be clear. I don't. Ultimately, here's what I know. Monty Smith said to the media, yeah, and he didn't say I suck, but he's like, yeah, I didn't do enough. In the first preseason game. By the way, the Rams did not play their starters and where it's at and what happened. He's on wax saying it's not good enough. I got to get there. So defend who you want to defend, but when my man is saying what he said and he wasn't going against starters, and I think you look at the tape and what happened in that game, yeah, no, it wasn't good enough for Mozzie. Was it all bad from him? No, but here's what I always say: we can all sit here. Let's say Patrick Mahomes for a second, right? Let's say Patrick Mahomes, and Irene says he's the greatest quarterback ever, and I say, Irene, you're crazy. He's not top 10. And me and Irene can go out here and chop up tape for 10 minutes on either side, and we'll show our proof. And what she shows will absolutely clear he's a top 10. But I'll show you tape on the other side, 10 minutes worth. That'll prove that he's not that good. And that's just the reality of quote unquote tape. You know why I don't do tape watches and those different things? Because there's no slant on it. Too many people are doing it. Everyone's got access to all 22, whatever. I had access to before all 22. I don't really care. I'm like, hey, man, I know what I'm talking about. I think it should be that. But it's too much disingenuousness within the base. And I don't think this is a Cowboys related thing. I think it's throughout the sports in general and get your talking points off and clickbait or whatever. But any of us can look, man, Lord Dilly and Coles can say, let's go back to last year and say, hey, look, the first ever undrafted running back for the Dallas Cowboys history from 1960 to right now rush for 1,000 yards. And Lord Dilly can say, man, he's been the best running back we've had in the past 10 years. And Colts would say no. And they could sit there and chop up 5 minutes of tape on either side and showing why.
He
Yep.
wasn't even,
Hey, there's two hands up. I saw Rick. I think I saw Rick first, and then Davian.
Real quick before we go to that, Knicks, I 100% agree with you, man. Everything is slanted. Statistics can be slanted. Tape can be slanted. I'm with you 100%, and you don't know who to trust. So I would recommend for anybody in here, follow the people who you believe love the game, love the sport, and they're not in love with the clicks and the views. That's all I'm going to say. All right, now we can go to Rick.
I agree. I think there's a different level to fandom, right? I think all of us, it's pretty safe to say
Jeremy.
that we nerd out pretty hard, right? So there's a lot of casual fans, and all they do is, like I said, watch ESPN, and then they regurgitate what they hear, not anything that they see. You know what I mean? And so it's pretty easy to weed that out, I think, with content creators as well. You know what I mean? If somebody's sitting there saying that Mozzie's doing well, then obviously they're not watching, right? They're listening to something, or like you said, they're just trying to get clicks or whatever. So I don't know. I think, yeah, it's one of the reasons, like I always say, I hate Eagles fans first and other Cowboys fans second, right? Because a lot of other Cowboys fans are fucking idiots, dude, and they only like it because it's pretty uniform, right? They don't
Not you
watch
guys that are watching
football.
this.
They don't fucking, it was,
Y'all are brilliant.
we were so iconic in the 90s, right? And that happened all the time. Everybody was a Cowboys fan. And they couldn't name, anybody outside, the triplets, right? So I think there's always going to be that level to us, like the Yankees, the Lakers, the Celtics, those big, iconic brands, beyond football, beyond sports, right? And so you're always going to have those casual fans that just listen to like what their fucking dad said or somebody Skip Bayless like that. You know what I mean? And so that's part of the frustration of being a real true diehard Cowboys fans like all of us are, right?
Yeah, I feel you on that, Jeremy. Hey, let me go to Rick because Rick had his hand up. Rick, what's going on, big dog?
Well, yeah, a couple of things is I agree with what people are saying about the media and stuff like that. The only people I listen to are local reporters and DallasCowboy.com and and Cowboys content creators on here like Nix and Dylan and a few other people like Bach and those other those guys there. But but those are the people I trust the most. As far as the running back
Rick's an all right
situation
guy.
goes, is that I had the question for Nick. He might know the answer, but say if like Sanders is hurt, like could they waive him? Take and say, oh, we want to keep both Williams and Sanders and Maffa and Blue. So that Sanders is hurt, can we just just like okay, just stick around. We'll put it on your 53, then put him on IR, and then you can go with that. And if everybody's the other four, Blue, and Maffa, and Williams and Licky are doing great. And then when Sanders is ready to come back, we just like, no, you're IR for the rest of the year. What I was saying is that could they, say waive Dinger, and if he goes through, just pick him up and they put him on the practice squad type thing. Whether it be Sanders, whether it be Williams, either one, if they're hurt.
I don't know, but if I thought, and Nick's correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought if you waive him injured, that ends up being a season-ending thing. I think they have to
Well,
make
if
the
you're
roster first, right?
Yeah, or I mean, which wave them like, for instance, like they were kind of like Rob Jones for a second. they were kind of holding whatever, and then they brought some people over, and like, I never mind. You got to get up out of here with a neck injury, right? And some of that will turn into a injury, right? It will turn to a injury settlement at times for guys. So
Right.
Yeah, but I understand that. So my for the running backs, I would say to me it's like you have later in the year you're gonna have Moffitt and Blue. They're gonna be like a 1-2 thing. You got the power and the quickness. I think start off with I would think probably Williams, Blue, Moffitt, and Lipke. Um, but and as far as Mozzie goes and stuff like that, I mean, sorry, guy. If it, after this year, you're not going to get a 5th-year option anyways. But I don't know if you're going to survive next year as well. But to me, as far as people go, I think that, my opinion, what I've heard stuff like that, I think Childress should make the team over Booth. I think, or like that. I also think Winfrey should make the team over uh, Turner or somebody like that. And the other thing is I'm not sure about the offensive line. I think they did good, kind of good last week, but we're gonna have to wait until the preseason to figure out that situation. Whether we have Austin Richards, whether we have um, Johnny or one of the other guys that might be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, and that brings up an interesting question. Thanks, Rick. And I'll jump to Davian in a second. Maybe we can touch on this after Davian speaks. But on the Cowboys break, they brought up an interesting point. If Guyton's back for week 1 against the Eagles, you rolling with Guyton or you rolling with one of your other tackles like Nate Thomas? Who do you have more faith in? But let me go to Davion first, and then maybe we can jump back on that one.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
What's up,
Yep.
brother?
Hey, what's going on? I mean, we don't break it up there at work. What's up, Knicks? Man, good
what's
to
up,
go.
Davian?
Have it over again. I guess
buddy?
I wanted to touch on kind of what you're talking about earlier. I believe that the Parsons contract and the Pickens contract are two totally different animals. I mean, everybody, I do believe we're going to get Parsons signed. And then if we get a franchise pick, if we put off season.
Hey, Davion.
Probably get signed
Davion?
pretty soon. Keep talking about.
Hey, Davion, if you got a fan blowing behind you, I think it's cutting your mic out. It's because your mic's cutting in and out. I think it's messing you up.
God damn it, I'm at work.
Step up
Can you hear
to
me
the
now?
lot, Davian.
Yeah, go and talk. We'll see.
God damn it. Yeah.
We're hearing that.
Well,
Real
anyway,
clear.
yeah, pretty much, man. I hate when I'm at work with it because I have to get on. I don't even know where I was at. Oh, anyway, I think we're gonna probably get. I think Pickens gonna probably be with us more than 1 year. I think he's gonna probably get a T. Higgins type of deal, and then we're just gonna go from there. So hopefully, we can do that and get rolling on that front. But hopefully tomorrow or Saturday we get to see Dak. I'm hoping they do it, but we'll see. I'm glad Booker's playing though. That makes a whole lot better. And I'll jump off.
All right, good to hear from you, David.
See you, Davian.
Now take your ass back to work. We can't hear you. I'm joking, David.
I think Nick's you disagreed with him on Pickens being here.
Yeah, I mean, once again, who's his agent?
Yeah.
Hey, if they get the Micah contract done, they can fucking franchise Pickens next year, right?
Yeah, point two, what you just said. If they get Micah done, maybe they get Pickens done too, because the agent's a little happier because he got paid.
Fair.
And everybody is always happy
True.
when they got money in their pocket.
Yeah, this is one of the things too about the whole Micah deal that people don't really think about. You take it one step further. That franchise tag is a tool. You really shouldn't utilize it unless you're absolutely forced to, because it helps you negotiate these contracts. And so if they're going to use that on Micah, they lost leverage in a handful of other contracts that they're working on. So hopefully they get Micah done to a long term and retain that franchise tag for next year. Okay, yeah, back to my question about the left tackle. Who y'all rolling with week 1? If Guyton is healthy but has no training camp, no preseason, who you going with?
Guyton.
Yeah, I'm still Guyton over. Well, I mean, we got time, right? We got time to see, the guy that we drafted last year from Louisiana, do some things. He was okay in game 1. What did he do? So, like I think for me, it's gotten ready
You're
the week
talking Nate
of.
Thomas, right?
Yeah, Nate Thomas. I'm sorry, my bad. Yes, Nate Thomas. Look, but is gotten ready that week, or is he ready a week and a half or so before? Right. I think that's kind of where I would kind of
Right.
land of who I wanted to go with, if that makes sense.
It does. Get him
Can
some
I just
practice
throw
reps.
another name in there too? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
What
I'll throw
about
it to
Lyle
Cook.
Collins? I mean, I hear that he looks better than he's looked in 4 years.
Brother, what are
Lyle?
we doing?
Right
I don't think
tackle,
he.
yes. Left tackle,
Yeah.
no.
I'm just
Exactly.
throwing it out there. I'm asking you guys'
Robbie.
opinion.
Oh, no,
I
it's fine.
feel you. I feel you.
I
Yeah,
was messing with you, bro.
yeah. No, you good.
Yeah,
Like,
get
although
out.
I
I'm
agree,
taking you out of the chat, Robbie. No,
but
I'm
I
just
agree
kidding.
though. Like, I thought he popped up the screen during the game, for sure.
Yeah,
He looks
I had
good. Like, he looks nice in terms. He lost a lot of that baby weight, baby fat that he had going on. He looks fit, but does that translate? I don't know yet.
I don't
Didn't
think
look
there
great
was a
against the Rams.
I don't think there was a player this offseason into training camp that needed more work than possibly Tyler Guyton. So, him getting hurt is an absolute downer to start this season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm rolling with him week 1.
I mean,
If he's got a week to prepare, maybe.
Here's my deal. If he can get a good, solid week of practice before that first game, because, I mean, let's be honest, the training camp's not like extra grueling any more than practice is, right? So if he can get a really good, solid week of practice in, you know what I mean?
Well, here's what you don't want to happen. He already struggled with confidence issues last year. You don't want to throw him in prematurely, and now he's struggling against one of the dominant defensive lines in the NFL, and now you've tanked his second season. Hey, someone's clapping.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell that was, but that was cool.
Someone really agrees with you.
I was agreeing, but I don't know if I'm sending the right emoji.
I
You
think
sent
you meant to
something, bro.
send the clap emoji.
Yeah.
I
not
never
the
heard
cool
that before.
clap sound effects, but that was awesome. There you go.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know how
Let's
I
keep
did
it going.
I don't know if I can do it again or not.
That's awesome. Hey, William, I see William's
You
hands
don't
up.
have to.
Okay, here's what I want. I want Dak to make that ultimate decision on who's starting there, because we're shielding him from the preseason. This has to do with his confidence. I think Guyton's play affected Dak, and we got those glassy eyes from him last year, quicker in the season. And so I hope Dak's a huge part of it. I'm sure he is. But whoever is starting in that position, Dak's got to feel ultra comfortable, especially in that Eagles game.
Hey, William, I got to ask you, are you like in a super long corridor that like never ends?
Bro, I thought he was underwater.
I was going to ask if he was calling from an aquarium.
Listen, I have a crappy speaker. My daughter's listening to Taylor Swift on a record player, and I'm like in a vaulted living room. So I have everything working against me.
Did he say he thinks Dak should play the game? Is that what he said? Like, I don't.
Say that
I
again,
couldn't
Nick.
tell. It was something about Dak in.
Yeah, he was saying Dak should make the decision, or at least have
Dak
a big
should, like,
big
basically
voice in the decision
who
on
he's
left tackle.
comfortable guarding him.
Comfortable guarding Dak?
Yeah. If who he feels more comfortable with, Nate Thomas or.
Oh, okay.
Get the players' input, but you got to be really careful with that shit too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You could divide a locker room real quick with, coaches need to coach, right? Players need to play. Yeah.
Well, we all know who Dak would choose, and it would be Lyle Collins because that's his fishing buddy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I'm
Well,
not
I hope
saying that
Dak's
to
making
add to my
not
point.
making
I'm
decisions
not at
based
all.
off who he catches fish with. I'm just gonna say
I hope
that.
not either.
Otherwise, Chris is going in because Chris got that bass over there in his profile picture.
That's what I do.
So what do y'all want to see this week against the Ravens? What play you're looking forward to the most, or what do you want to see from Shoddy? Give me something.
Dak play. I need Dak to play.
All right, one at a time.
Dak's not
Happening.
playing, Davian.
They've already announced that Milton will be the starter.
And he
So
shouldn't be.
here's what I saw today, and Dylan, you reposted this. It was the stuff about Ryan Flanoy, because I didn't watch the L-22 yet of the full game of the Rams, but in camp I didn't really notice anything special about Flanoy, and then all of a sudden he's got this momentum behind him. So maybe he just had a really good week of camp. I don't know, but I guess I'm interested in that because I thought no way he was making the team. So I'm interested to see what's going on there.
You said with Flournoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just assumed it was going to be, Tolbert, even though I would rather trade him at whatever, and Mingo and Turpin, and then maybe Holden. I didn't think. I think Flanoy to me was like, okay, he's an afterthought, but apparently, I don't know, he's picked up some steam.
Yeah, it's all about which step are you going to take? Like we all seen it from Flanoy and with Mingo and all that and Holden, but are these guys going to, or are they looking at it like, okay, these guys can come in here and take it away from, our standards? I mean, can they do it? You know who the standards are, the Jalen's.
Yeah, the Jalen's.
So does everybody feel comfortable saying Flanoy and Mingo are pretty much the same dude?
No, not at all.
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
know. I don't know what Flanoy has done. That's why I'm like, oh, I guess I have to pay attention
as
to him.
far as style of player type, I don't know. Obviously, if he doesn't get overthrown, everybody has been talking about him like they were talking about Malik Davis, and I get it, if whatever, but he was open at the end of the day, and he got open quite a bit. But I just feel like him and Mingo are the same type of player,
Yeah, but even though Mingo was a second-round pick a couple years ago, Mingo plays special teams. Flournoy doesn't.
Hey, Mingo was a third-round pick. Be clear, not a second round.
Mingo, my bad. Right, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, Mingo's a bigger guy than Flournoy. He's got like 20 pounds on him, so it's a different kind of player. And Flournoy is not like a small guy by any means. I need to look at their speed. They're 40 times. I'm interested in that.
Their game is way different. Yeah, I mean, their game is way different.
Flournoy reminds me of like an Amari Cooper type. He's not as precise a route runner, obviously, because ain't nobody as precise as Amari. But I mean, he's more like an Amari type, and Mingo is just more of a big, like, gonna box you out kind of guy.
To that point, Lord, like we talk about like a poor man's Cooper, right? And then a poor man's Dez, if you will.
Okay, fair enough.
Like dollar store versions. Yeah.
Said I don't get to see as much of it, you know what I mean, right now because, like I've said, can't watch training camp all day, right? So I feel like it's going to come down to one of them, though, for that last fifth.
I think it's going to be Brooks, unfortunately.
I forgot about Brooks, yeah, and Brooks has been having a great camp.
Too, yeah.
I prefer
also plays special teams.
Yeah.
Mingo's got his spot secured, I'm pretty sure. So it's really between Flournoy, Brooks, Cropper, and Holden. And I think that Flournoy and Holden have the highest ceilings out of all those guys. But the question is, where are the floors at, A? And B, who's going to play special teams for you? And Brooks, I think, is their gunner on punt. So he's got that leg up already on the other guys.
Even though they obsessively keep putting Josh Kelly in, and I'm like, why are you here?
I forget about him, honestly.
Yeah, well, me too. But then I kept seeing him in practice, so that's why I asked the question on air, because I'm like, is this guy
don't forget
one of those guys
don't forget about CJ Goodwin
in?
too. They got CJ Goodwin out here playing receiver. Saw him at camp a couple times.
Right. So weird.
Randomly. Maybe he's getting reps in to take some fake punt receptions at some point in time. Get his hands ready. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But there's also a problem that they might keep 5. If they keep 5, then all 3 of those guys are out anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question for you
Sure.
guys? So I like Trayshawn Holden. I watched a little bit of his college tape. He looked pretty solid. Kind of attitude guy, but a lot of the damn receivers are anyway. So who cares really? And good coaching fixes that, and getting older and money fixes bad attitude, right? All that being said, do you keep Flournoy, who's in his going into his 3rd year, or do you keep the rookie if their upsides are about the same and one's 3 years younger? That's my question. Just do you keep the age or the
Generally, you go with the younger guy, but it sounds like from what Nick's saying that he's kind of slow. Might be the issue. I don't really know what Flanoy's speed is
He's
to compare it.
slow. Holden's on the slower side, but he gets open. He's a Jason Witten type, right? Where he knows how to get open.
I mean, if I can, here's the thing for whether it's Flournoy or Holden, and includes Jalen Brooks, which by the way is your starting gunner on punt return or punt coverage. Look, when you get down that far on the wide receiver depth, your key path to getting to the team, the special teams, y'all.
Yeah.
That's how this game works. That's how this game works. Like, so go to the running back room for a second. And here's why. And here's why I could be absolutely wrong. I'm just giving you all my take. Here's why I don't think Sanders and Jamal Tillman is going to make the team.
Correct.
Who's going to play special teams between those two?
And I also don't think we need both of them. I think they did it just in case they got wiped out like they did the year before in the draft.
But I know Malvin's going to play special teams.
Yep.
And again, I preach this all the time for the young players that are here that are kind of closer to the bottom of the roster. You have to prove your worth special teams to get here. And those are the things that matter. No matter how much we like, and I like Holden, right? I think Holden, he makes a play for practice and does things and all those things. Junior Adams, the wide receiver coach, right? He was at Oregon with him last year, right? Like, so, like, he's a sponsor in the building and everything. But you got to go make your mark special teams to be here because you're wide receiver 6.
Yep.
Like, if everybody's looking for something to happen, right? And I'll say this and I'll segue and I'll mute, and I appreciate it, is the tradable commodity to me would be maybe Jalen Tolbert. Okay, maybe.
Yep.
If you want to go get a D tackle or cornerback, maybe you can move Tolbert last year of his deal. But be clear about Tolbert. He can play the X, the Y, the Z at wide receiver. Oh, by the way, he plays special teams really well. So for Flo and Brooks and or Holden to not just keep one but keep 2 of the 3, they have to make him expendable. And that's what has to kind of happen for those moves to be made.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. I think all of us, want. One thing that's frustrating about this team right now is how we're so heavy at some positions, and so, having glaring, like our defensive line. We got pass rushers galore. We can rush every which way, right? But it's just, if we could just trade one of those guys for a defensive tackle or one of our receivers for a defensive tackle, I'm with that.
I like the idea of trading Tolbert. Listen, I am a Mingo fan. I can't wait. He gets open, guys, but I don't know how many good balls were thrown his way last year. And several times he's been open. I just haven't seen it connect. I'm going to be cheering my butt off whenever it finally happens, and I think he could really contribute. But I think that's a great idea to look at how we can shore up DT with using Tolbert as a trade. I don't know how trades like that work, but that's a great idea, Nix.
Yeah, it's going to be a question of, is there interest out there? Are you confident in his replacements on the roster as it sits? And honestly, guys, if we're worried about, losing any of the receivers, every team's got a Jalen Brooks. Every team's got a Ryan Flournoy. Every team's got players that they love at the back end of their roster that they're like, oh God, we can't lose this guy. Or the fans are like, we can't lose this guy. He's going to take in. What we say with Jalen Cropper last year? Like all these guys were like, yeah, these guys, ain't no way they're making a past practice squad all season long. So
we did lose the safety, so Damian Lord. Cheat.
Yeah. You ain't losing any of these guys, unless something crazy happens. So I'm not worried about losing, like even like a Holden. Holden's probably the guy out of all of them I'd be worried about losing the most. I think he's got the most upside long term, but still not really too worried about it. And
I don't
honestly,
think someone will snatch him from the practice squad. Do you?
I don't think so. But if it does, I mean, you go find another one next year. You know, they're
Yeah,
honestly they're a dime a dozen. So,
A question
I
for
mean,
you. Oh, go ahead, next.
yeah, I'm saying, I mean, you found out everybody loved Flo in his rookie year last year, right? And now
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
a Holden this year. It
Yep.
to the point that y'all just made, it happens every year.
It does. So,
yep.
question for everybody. Brevin Spanford was having a good camp and then he got injured. Supposed to be like a 2-week injury. I don't think he got back in practice today. I mean this week, but maybe next week. Um, any word on that? Any excitement about him? Like he was bigger than I realized when I saw him in person. I'm sure his stats are like that. He's
Oh
6'7"
yeah,
or something. I should have
6'7" big, yeah,
realized.
6'7" big
But
boy.
yeah, it was an impressive 6'7". He's also wide. So I'm kind of looking forward to see if he actually gets in there. I don't know. He's going to need time to practice and get back into things, but he might make Schoonmaker the third if he gets some traction. I don't know.
He's got some upside. Oh, talking on mute here, my bad. Yeah, he's got some upside to him. He's a big boy, good blocker. He's a big time red zone threat. Just got to see it play out in some games. You know what I mean? He's got to get healthy. I'm not sure what his return table looks like there as far as returning to play, but I'm excited for him. We saw him in person, Irene, and I think you shouted him out, and he said hi to you. So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome.
But boy, you don't realize how big these guys are, and specifically for a guy to be that much bigger than the other guys who are already big, it's no joke. So I'm looking forward to him coming back.
Oh, Robbie, I think your hand's up.
It is. I just wanted to say goodnight because it's getting a little late for me on the East
Okay.
Coast. Everybody's in the East Coast, but I wake up at 4, so.
Yeah, the East Coast comes quick.
East Coast, baby, represent.
That's
All right, Robbie.
Quick when you got little kids. Good night, y'all. I love you
All
guys,
right,
man.
see you, Robbie.
Great group. I love hanging out. I love listening to everything you guys say. I'll be back on air as soon as it gets to a regular schedule again, and I can actually call in and get through.
Sounds good, Robbie.
Sounds good. See you later, buddy.
Hey, Robbie.
Love it. Our little community's so cute.
So cute. We're just so damn cute. I tell you. All right, so let's talk cornerbacks, y'all. Let's talk these cornerbacks. We were talking cornerbacks earlier, right? Let's get into this. We have so many cornerbacks. So every year there's a position that I look at and I'm like, I can name like half the guys that are there. And cornerback is that position this year because we have so many injuries. There's so many moving parts and pieces. I'm going to pull the roster up now and take a look at what we got going on. But what do y'all think about the current cornerback situation and where that's heading in this preseason?
That sucks.
Very analytical. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is scary.
But it could, end up, producing somebody that we didn't think, you know what I mean? Like a Josh Butler from last year or something like that. But yeah, it's scary for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many question marks to the injuries. I mean, obviously that's everything. If they can come back before we shit the bed for the whole season, that's the whole question, I think, because we're going to have the pass rush. And so maybe these younger guys can kind of hold down the fort. But if we shit the bed bad the first of the year, and it'll be too little too late once they all come back,
Yeah.
With the last two preseason games, it's gonna have that's gonna have to tell you a story. Who's gonna be your cornerback, whether we slot or corner. You got Bland and you got Elam. Whether it's gonna be Hall or McQuamo or um, Childress, all right, one of them thing, or you pick somebody else up from when the people get dropped.
Yeah. Nick's your hands up.
Yeah. I'm confident on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 fully confident. 1 not. How confident are you in Bland?
Well, 6. To be honest.
6. Okay, 6. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean he's a
Unless you're grabbing
playmaker, but we know what he is. He's a playmaker, but he's going to give up some stuff. He's a willing tackler, which is great out on the edge. He's going to help run defense, but he'll go up some plays.
I just don't think he can replicate that crazy, amazing, wonderful season that he did.
Mhm.
So
So 6.5, no sevens.
maybe
Anybody
seven, maybe
else?
7.
Chris
I
will
say 7.
give him a Chris will give him a 7. But I
Okay.
am kind of like thinking that I don't know. I mean, what is that contract that he's looking for?
Well, hold on. I'm not worried about the contract. We're
Okay,
talking about for this
perfect.
season, right? So Elam traded for, didn't play the first preseason game. What's your confidence level? Scale of 1 to 10 on Elam.
When they got him, not high. When they got him,
Mhm.
probably a 4. Probably just like a body. I would say that has moved. I might have more. I know it sounds weird, but I might have more confidence in him just based on camp than I do Bland, or at least maybe even.
Oh,
Maybe even.
Okay,
so you got Bland at
Irene.
6, and
Whoa,
then
whoa,
you got
whoa.
Bland at, hold on,
Whoa.
wait. So you got Bland at 6 and Elam at 6.5, maybe.
There we go. Yeah, let's give that.
That's a bold take, Irene.
Okay.
Oh, I
That's a
like
bold
those
take.
takes.
That's a bold take. Hey, that is definitely a bold take. All right, real quick, who is your starting slot corner week 1?
For me right now, Childress.
Right now,
Yeah,
Childress. Okay.
that's fair.
Or came on Hall.
Came on Hall. Okay.
Probably got to be Mukwamu, as much as that pains me to say it.
Going with Palmer. He ain't
I
getting, but
I
Lord,
say
he ain't getting no
Childress.
work.
How
But he
about
ain't getting
how
no work
about
over there.
Bland and then sign me Gilmore? Then I'll be happy.
Now, Mukwamu's
you
got
gotta
work
give
in the.
Bland a deal.
Mukwamu's got
he's
some
gotten
slot historically, right? It's just not this season.
Historically, we're talking about with this coaching staff, Swiss Army knife, where it's at right now. Who played slot preseason game 1?
Well, I'm with Irene. That'd be cool to have Bland there and then Gilmore.
Is Bland willing to go
and
there?
I agree because I believe if you give Bland the deal as an outside corner, he'll go play slot for you. He just ain't going to take slot money right now.
Right.
I mean, that's just kind of where that is. But right now, where the Cowboys are currently constituted, yeah. So Zion, the undrafted guy, which the Cowboys have had great success over the years with undrafted guys. Not taking nothing away from that. He had the multitude of snaps with the number ones the last 2-3 days. He's probably going to start at slot on Saturday. A huge game for Zion against the Ravens come Saturday. But ultimately, we're over halfway through camp. Ultimately, and then I asked the question, and I'm mute. We're halfway through camp, and we really don't know as a team who our slot corner is. I'm mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think there's any way in a contract year Deron Bland goes and plays slot, even if he has a guarantee. Like, hey, yeah, well, sure, we'll play as an outside guy. He's putting tape out there for other teams, and all. I mean, that'd be crazy in a contract year to go play slot when you're a bona fide outside corner.
Yeah, thanks. If he gets the bag as the outside corner, he'll play anywhere for you. But if you don't give him the bag, yeah, he ain't playing no slot.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you, Lord.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
But
hey, I got to take off, guys. But have a good night. Sorry to interrupt you. But
you're good.
Okay.
You good, Jeremy?
Right. See you, Jeremy.
Right.
Have a good one, Jeremy.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks.
All I was gonna say was Nick's can maybe back this up on my because I've heard that Bland is probably close to a contract signing. If that happens, then yeah, he gets his thing. But who do you think's going to get paid first, Bland or Parsons?
Oh. Well, I would have said Parsons, but I didn't realize Bland was close to a contract.
Real quick, ain't it funny how this always returns back to contract talk with the Cowboys?
Yes.
Like, it's always full circle. It's never ending. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's why I asked the question in the first place. This cornerback position is a mess. I don't have any answers.
Ready to come in week 1? I don't think he is.
No,
doesn't seem like it. No.
Yeah.
No, but that when he comes back, that'll be very helpful. I mean, whenever that might be. I don't think it's going to be too long from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing.
Either. Maybe by week 4 or something.
But yeah, first third of the season. That's what I was thinking.
It's also a matter of are the Cowboys self-aware enough to know that if they sign Bland, they can put him anywhere because Bland is actually your best slot corner. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And that's even with Elam and whoever else you're going to put out
Shoulders.
there. Yeah, on the other side, he is your best guy. Now what Mr. Nix was saying about the contract, I get that. That's all. I mean, it's always about the dollar, but figure it out and get that done because he's probably your best guy right there.
You know who I like to see more in the slot too? Get some chances this year. And another, damn it, Irene.
Oh, I thought it was a layup.
No. Okay.
So sorry.
I missed the basket. Went over the top of the hoop. It's in the stand. I just broke a lady's nose. All right. Yeah. No. It was Wanye. All right. Someone else that we met out in camp. Wanye, super cool dude. And that's a guy for years. It's like every time he gets in the field covering tight ends or playing in the slot, whatever it might be, it seems like more times than not he's in position to make a play or he's around the ball. So that's a guy that not a lot of people talk about in the slot, right? But I think I'd like to see him there too. Maybe this preseason.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually just about to say the same thing because then you have Bland staying on because as I'm saying, put Bland in the slot. I'm like, wait a minute. Then who's on the outside?
Now Wanye,
I don't know about that.
He's got something going on, right? He's got some sort of nagging injury too, right?
Knee or ankle, I don't remember.
I mean, he's back now though.
He's back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he was back. He came back first day. He was back. He was all reps and everything. They didn't hold him back. So yeah, he's all the way back. We'll see what happens on Saturday though.
Yeah, that's a guy that could fight for that spot. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 guys that are gonna be fighting for that slot, that slot corner position.
Doesn't it suck that we have to play the damn defending Super Bowl champs week 1 while we're trying to navigate all these injuries?
I mean, whatever. I don't care. I just want to have fun. Just don't get blown out. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. Let's just have some fun with this damn thing.
Yeah, heck yeah. What are you all about, Cowboys? There you go.
That's for sure. I like to ease into it though, but whatever. It'll be there.
Now the question is, are we going to see if Milton continues to struggle? Are they going to continue to evaluate this guy, right, and at the detriment to the other players, or are they going to throw in Will Greer, who I think they like more at number 2? What are they going to do? Yeah, it's tough to evaluate your receivers when the ball is getting thrown, 20 yards behind them or in front of them or whatever.
Right,
Hey,
but
I thought they did a good job this week kind of explaining the performance at last week's game. And even though I was kind of bummed out after last week, there were some good explanations on, hey, this is what we were trying. We saw Will Greer does a better job to showcase these other players. So I think they might do that. I'm anxious to see because I don't want Milton's poor performance to affect some of these younger players that could be developing.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough thing to navigate because you got to evaluate this guy at the same time. You got a lot of other positions to evaluate as well, a lot of other players. So I don't envy Shoddy's role in his job to make that decision. It's tough to figure that out.
The funny part was during the Rams practice, the joint practice, not the game. Milton, I know he got injured, but before he got injured, he was throwing nice, like a bomb, and not just the one bomb. He was throwing pretty well. And Greer, I was like, why is this guy even here? And then Rams game, it actually switched completely. It was like the lights were too bright or something for Milton because he just looked like, I mean, it was just one speed. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, some guys are just gamers. And Milton, the 2 days we were out there at camp, Milton only had one missed throw, and it was to a running back in the flat that I can remember anyways. And the rest of the camp, he looked pretty damn good. I was excited about him. But, maybe it's first game jitters, new team, all that, new season. Maybe the second week of preseason, he does a little bit better. But if he's not, I mean, Shida's got to be quick on that trigger because he's got to figure out what he's doing with his receivers. So, and the running backs.
For sure. Sorry I stole your Wanye thunder.
Sorry, but if you do it again, I'm removing you as co-host. You ain't going to be up here no more.
Damn cold-blooded.
There you go.
I ain't got no more thunder, so that was it. That was all my thunder.
That
So you're
was
good.
it. I
You're safe.
stole it all.
You're safe. Yeah. What else?
Lord, you got to shoot your shot sometimes. It is what it is. You did the same.
No doubt, man. I was gonna say something, but it was gonna sound weird, so I'm not gonna say it. These linebackers, what we got going on there too, got some injuries too. You know, if Overshown, I'd feel a lot better about this defense if Overshown was not hurt as well. That's a guy who I think he has like a Micah Parsons effect almost, where when he's in the field, I feel like everybody else around him is elevated, and he's only played a handful of games, but in those handful of games, dude was an absolute rising star in the league. So we might have another one here with Marist as well. Marist is looking really good. He looked good last season as a rookie. Looking good so far this preseason. Looked good in camp. I'm excited for that guy. I think hold him out the rest of the preseason. We don't need to see anything else. I think he's an untouchable at this point. Just let him sit on the pine, ride the pine. Nothing else from that man. But I want to see Sanborn play, and I want to see Murray play and see what we got there with those two.
Are either of them playing on Saturday? Because you said they already announced who's playing?
I don't think so. Not that I saw. Not that I saw. I would assume both are playing if both are healthy. I think Murray's back at practice, right? So I think both, I would assume, would be in the game. Probably see, if we're talking about who's in, who's out, probably see Booker as well, I would assume. Judging based on what Shoddy was saying, it sounds like some of the starters who didn't play last week will be in this week. So I'd expect to see more your favorite players that you wanted to take a look at.
Cool. Hey, Nix, do you have any intel on or any chirpings about when Overshown's coming back?
The earliest you can look for and pray for is probably Thanksgiving versus Kansas City. The earliest. And I think, from my estimation, that would be a blessing. And I think also that's what he's shooting for and where it's at. But yeah, I mean, man, what a blessing on Thanksgiving, right? So that's getting back. So yeah, the earliest I would say is Thanksgiving, and we'll just kind of see how things progress from there.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks. It's good. That's actually a tough stretch, so that's a great time for him to come back, I guess, if if we can get him this year. But
yeah, if you're talking
so nice.
Thanksgiving, that's the Chiefs game, right? That's November 27th. So he would have an extra handful of days too to rest up right after that. I think it also depends too how you're looking for the playoffs. If you're competing for a playoff spot, then sure. If you're got playoffs pretty much locked up, right? That's maybe to take into consideration. If the season's over, take that into consideration as well. Basically, you got to see what happens when we get there. But if he's able to come back, but the Cowboys maybe are out of it, maybe let him sit until next season, right? Let's really make sure he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Just something to consider at that time. A lot of variables in play there.
He's just so fun. I would just love to see him play. I love watching him play. Same with Micah. Contract or not, whatever. He is just fun to watch.
Hey, so any of y'all willing to sign Christian Wilkinson? Or what's his name? Christian, with his weird butt fetish and all that? No? I would be. I would sacrifice.
Don't start that bullshit. I'm not doing that.
God damn, that's loud. I would sacrifice some of these. Davion, you got a lot of background noise, brother. Holy smokes! I would sacrifice some of these lower.
Are you at Disneyland, Davion? What's up?
I would sacrifice some of these lower tier players that are on the chopping block. I'd sacrifice them. Let him take one or two to get this guy on the team. Maybe be his little weird fetish buddy. I mean, earn your spot. Earn your spot. If someone can help us in the run game, earn your spot.
I loved Nick talking to Lester and being like, do some research. Oh no, I'm like, please don't do that research.
Bro, it took everything in his body to not laugh at that. Oh my God.
He's like, oh, he has an attitude problem? Yeah, that's one way of saying it.
Man should be in jail.
Oh no, that's insane.
Yeah. But now they're gonna sign some guys, getting away from that weirdo. They're gonna sign some guy. They're gonna be some cuts. They're gonna bring somebody in who's just an adequate body to play, who's maybe average to slightly below average to play in the middle of that defensive line. Because the people they got there, one technique wise, I know the 1Ts aren't as important in this system as other systems, but there's a time and place for them. And I don't think the Cowboys really have a game ready guy who can come in and hold his own. Toya's a big boy, or Toya, whatever you say his name, but he's a rookie. He played okay in the first half, but did not look good at all in the second half in that first game, which is a rookie thing to do and probably not great conditioning and all that. But when you start playing starters with a guy like that, you ain't going to be any good at all. So it's going to take him a couple of years to get going. Mozzie, we all know about our boy Moz. Much love to Mozzie, but it ain't much there for us.
Nope.
They're going to bring somebody in, whether it's a trade or a free agent who gets
And
cut.
Thomas is more of a 3-tech, right? But they're kind of sort of. I mean, I haven't seen him actually.
Yeah, they got a
do
bunch
much.
of 3-tech / 3-tech, 1-tech hybrids.
But I
They don't
feel
really
like they
have
might
any.
try him at 1-tech a little bit. I don't know, just because they don't really have anyone. Hey, we got a Ravens fan in here. Hi, Byron. I did invite you to speak if you'd like to, but I don't live too far from Baltimore. I mean, kind of. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, but anyway.
Getting back to maybe a cornerback. I think the Cowboys front office and I think kind of miss. What I was gonna say was didn't think that they thought that Ravel would be ready, but he's not. So I think that was a misstep on their thinking. It was still a good pick, but a probably misstep that they think he would be starting week 1.
Oh, Rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the impression they really thought he would be starting week 1, but I do think they thought he'd be starting by like week 4, and now it seems like it might be further than that. So yeah, they probably were overly optimistic whether week 1 or week 4 or whatever was the, because I think they thought he'd start on pup, right? But yeah, he looked. It didn't look great, that clip. Hopefully he's doing better, but it's gonna take a while.
Well, they were thinking that he'd be ready. He'd be playing at training camp, so that he would be available for week 1.
Yo, the original thing with him, even before the Cowboys drafted him, was 2 weeks into camp he would be ready. Unfortunately, at camp he had a setback.
Yeah.
So now we're just in a different time frame now when it comes to Rebel.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked that we see Diggs on the field before Rebel at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Diggs looks pretty good. That's why I asked if you think he might actually be ready, but I guess not.
I think
week
there's
1.
some hopium. I think there's some hopium there. I'm a lord. I don't think it happens. I think there's some hopium there. I don't think it's going to happen. But neither here. I do think Diggs will be on the field before Rebel at this point, though.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I still
I
like
agree
the
with that.
pick though. I do. I mean, third
Oh, no
round
doubt.
is better than second round. I wouldn't have liked it. I know third round should still be a contributor, but if he can get to 90% of what he was projected to before the injury, then that's going to be a steal, right?
But that just goes into the whole outlook on this season, and I'm waving my hand here like y'all can see it. I guess the YouTube people can, but this is, I see Eddie in here. This is something Eddie mentioned earlier on one of Nick's chats. This is a building block season, is the way I see it. It's a building block. Got to get some of these contracts done. But assuming they get the contracts done, have a good free agency period next year, have a good draft next year, they can really take this thing to the next level and be legitimate contenders. I don't see them as legit contenders this year. There's too many red flags as far as these injuries go. There's a lot of hope these guys are going to come back and play at a high level, and you just don't know. They haven't had camps. You're expecting these guys to come back and be at their former levels coming off of a major injury like ACLs, specifically like a Diggs. There's some concerns there. Your defensive line is iffy from a run defense standpoint. Linebackers got a lot of question marks there just from the new bodies we got. So there's a lot of moving parts with this team. You got your cornerstones like Dak, you got CD, Micah, I'm assuming he's going to play. And so those guys are good to get you to 8 to 10 wins, right? But as far as being an actual Super Bowl contender, I don't know about this team as far as that goes. I guess you get in the playoffs and anything can happen. But I see this as a building block year for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, I don't see them as contenders either. But
let's get to the playoffs, right? Get to the playoffs and we'll see what happens.
That's going to be tough in our division and with this schedule. you know, we'll see. But
Yeah, I mean, Eagles gonna be good. We know that. But Commanders, I don't know. Let me see it. Let me see it twice. Let me see it twice. Yep. What up, Kyle Shetty? I see you got that speaking role, brother. Haven't heard from you. What's going on, brother?
Nothing, man. Just enjoying the conversations going on. Obviously, just anxious to get the season going here.
What's your outlook on this season? What you got?
You know, I think this is the best. I'm looking at the positives first. I think this is the best receiving core we've had since 2021, with Cooper and Lamb into his second year. But I think that's gonna just naturally open up the running game a little bit, just because defenses have to respect our passing game a lot more compared to last year with the healthy Ferguson as well. So I think that could just indirectly help the running game. But, you know, I feel like Javonte Williams is going to start out as the number one back week one. I think he's had the most experience, and I think you kind of want that going on the road, against the Eagles. But I think as the year goes on, I think you're going to start to see sprinkling of Maffa and Blue, as they get more experience, as they get more confidence from the coaches with pass protection, things like that. But I think Javonte's your guy. I think because of the injury, I think you have to let Sanders go, right? I think Javonte kind of wins that by default. And I think Javonte might have a little bit more of a nose for the red zone running, which is kind of what we need as well. I know Denver kind of used him more as their goal line back a little bit last year. So I would like to see that early on in the season. But obviously everybody's talking about Micah. And I think this could have all been avoided if, according to Micah's agent, what happened at the combine in 2024, where they went to Jerry and Steven like, hey, we're open for business. We want to sign, right? And they were kind of focused on Dak and CD. If you get Micah done then, maybe you could open up some cap room last year. Maybe you sign a Derrick Henry, right? And they didn't get Dak signed until a few hours before week one anyway. So I think this could have all been avoided if the Cowboys just kind of got out of their own what and signed players, ahead of the market instead of behind the market. And here we are, and I know a lot of people want to paint Mike as a bad guy, but this is the Cowboys just kind of trying to pick up for lost time. And I don't blame Micah and his agent, especially with how they're disrespecting Micah's agent, where he was like last year, hey, we're ready. Come on, let's sign. Let's sign for 32, right? But now we're looking to 42, probably 42, 43. So I think there's so many distractions off the field when we should be talking more about just football and the X's and O's of things. But I think we don't want to be talking about this stuff, leading up to the season. I want to be talking about how the offensive line is going to be gelling together. Dak coming back from a major injury and him getting some confidence early on. But we're, at least a lot of the fan base isn't talking about that stuff, including myself. So I'm not that optimistic. I think there are some good pieces in place, especially with the young offensive line and the receiving core. Especially if we are able to sign Pickens last year. I don't know if that's a possibility, but a lot of question marks on this team. And Giants got better too. Top 5 defensive line, I would say, in the league. Washington, I would agree with you. I think they overachieved so much last year, and I think they're not going to sneak up on anybody this year. But Philly is Philly. They're bringing back pretty much their cast from last year. Some defensive linemen are gone, but other than that, they got their core pieces. So it's going to be a challenging year.
Yeah, going back to the contract stuff, I'm going to drop a little quote on you guys. And this is something I try to keep in mind. All right, this is from a little show called Game of Thrones. Some of y'all might have heard of it. Some of y'all might have watched it. I don't know. All right, Peter Baelish once said, when I try to understand a person's motives, I play a little game. I assume the worst. What's the worst reason they could possibly have for saying what they say and doing what they do? All right, when we're talking about contract negotiations, this goes for Jerry, all right, which we all know. We all talk shit about Jerry, and that's fine. He deserves a lot of what we say. It's cool. All right, the players and the agents too, though, right? They're putting the information out there. They're playing that media game right back at Jerry. They're planting seeds. They're sharing information, trying to make themselves look better in that PR negotiation tactic. And so what I'm going to start doing from here on out, I'm going to tune it all out. I ain't listening to any of their bullshit anymore from either side. I'm done with everything that they say. And when the contract gets done, it gets done. Whether that's Micah, Bland, whoever it is, because it's all just bullshit at the end of the day. They're all playing games, and you can't trust any of it. So, with that said, Michael will be here week 1. For one reason or another, whether he's signed a deal or he wants to, not miss out on a bunch of money. There's concerns about him, getting injured, not being ready, whatever. That's fine. Whatever it is, what it is. But we got to roll with what we got at that point, and I'm sure Mike will be part of the plans week 1. But yeah, man, I share your concerns about the season. A lot of question marks. Cowboys did a good job at turning some of the holes into question marks, specifically at linebacker. They had a bunch of holes to fill. Now they got bodies. They got question marks there. Cornerback, I think, is a little less fortunate in that regard. Defensive tackle, a little less fortunate in that regard. Receiver, they kicked ass with that Pickens trade. Assuming everything works out there, that's going to really elevate that room. But other than that, yeah, there's definitely some holes in this team that I'm worried about. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to that, I think that defensive line wise, I think this is as deep as they've been at defensive end in a long time. The problem is, their interior linemen, that they don't have a lot of legit run stuffing defensive tackles, and even defensive ends as well. I mean, he's a good run defender, but he's obviously known for his pass rushing skills. Nealand, we haven't really seen a lot of. There's not a big enough sample size there, and as well as Sam Williams, right? They're kind of, I guess you could say, Marshawn Nealand's kind of like a Tyrone Crawfordish type guy, and Sam Williams right now, we don't really know what he is. But in terms of defensive tackle, I mean, we've been asking for this for years. I mean, this is the team from 2018 to 2020 that had Antoine Woods as a full-time starter on a team that was on the cusp in the divisional round in 2018, right? So that's where I think they missed, where when you're close, you got to fill those pieces, and they still haven't addressed it. And we're in 2025 now. So I don't know why they've kind of disregarded the defensive tackle position for so long. I don't know if they like the flashy positions, the pass rushers, the wide receivers, things like that. But when it comes down to it, when you get in the playoffs, it's football. You got to be able to run the ball, especially if you go on the road. You got to be able to stop the run on the road, and that's going to pretty much keep you in every game. And they just haven't done that, and I don't know why. They tried with Mozzie, right? That was a weak first round in general that year in 2023, and I think they just kind of reached because either they couldn't trade down and there was nobody else on the board, and McClay just said,
McClay, because your head coach wanted the tackle out of Syracuse.
Right. Bergeron or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Bergeron. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where they tried and they took a swing and they missed. And here we are now. You guys brought up Wilkins earlier. I feel like the old Jerry Jones would have.
Lord did, not us. No. Lord brought up Wilkins. Don't you put that juju on us.
But I mean, obviously he's still out there, so I don't think it's just a strict, off the field issue. I don't know if he's healthy, right? So I think that's a big concern there because he graded out like top 5 in run stuffing defensive tackles last year. So
you're stuffing more than runs. We'll say that. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll stop there. So, but yeah, I want to throw something back at you guys, and I don't know if this is brought up in conversation, but Dak's coming off a major injury. He hasn't played since I think it was October, the Atlanta game, October, November, something like that. He's the kind of player that really starts doing well with confidence, right? I know that he had the injury in 2020 and he didn't play throughout the preseason, and he went out and he lit up the Bucs and almost won that game. But he was also 5 years younger then, right? So he's 5 years older now. I would like to see him, even if it's one series, whether it's Baltimore or whatever the third preseason game is, go down, get a touchdown, get some confidence going into the season. I think he does well when he's really, really high confidence wise. What do you guys think about that?
Risk reward, right? Is he replaceable if he gets hurt? No. Has he's come back from major injuries before and has gotten off to fast starts? I know we talked about it earlier. I don't think you were in here, but there's a perception that Dallas gets off to slow starts, and parts of the team do. Certain players do. Their record says otherwise. Their record usually they start off pretty well record wise. I'm not really opposed to or against it. I'll ride the fence there. I guess I could go either way. I don't think he necessarily needs it. He's a 9-year vet, however many years it's been vet at this point. He's got a ton of reps out of training camp. It's nonstop out there for the 2 hours they practice, which is crazy to me, by the way. But it's not like he's not throwing at all. So the one thing I'll say for these starters to get into these preseason games is there's a certain formula that you go through in the pregame warm-ups and getting yourself ready in the locker room, mentally prepared, all that. I think that's bigger for some players, and maybe that's a Dak Prescott thing, like you mentioned, getting mentally prepared for that versus physically, because physically I think he could show up and play well right off the bat, as we've seen before. But I can go either way. I'm not really for or against it. I don't think we'll see it. I don't think he's going to play at all, is my guess, though.
I agree with you, and I think it, like you said, I think ever since Romo, had that injury in 2016, they've been really hesitant with that. But I mean, you can kind of call plays to make things safer, where he's not dropping back and sitting in the pocket and exposing his body. But I get it from both sides. But he just seems to be that guy when he's confident. It's like, okay, let's go. Like that Tampa game in the playoffs in 2022. That's the kind of guy I want to see this year. And obviously, he didn't look like a confident player last year, but a lot went into that, especially with how the Cowboys addressed the offseason. No running game, no number 2 receiver, young, inexperienced offensive line. So I'd just like to see him kind of behind these pieces, and whether it's in the preseason or regular season, I want to see him just kind of get some confidence early and kind of bounce back from last year.
Well, that's the other thing too. You got to keep in mind who's playing on the offensive line as well. What starters are going to be, and you're missing your left tackle. You got some injuries along that O-line, so don't want them getting hit, not in the back specifically. So we'll see what happens there. But to your point, though, if they're going to be successful this season, specifically this season, I think maybe any other season in Dak's career, we're going to need Dak to have a really good season. I'm confident in the run game. Both scheme wise, I like the personnel better than what we had last year. But they're going to put some points up, because they're going to have that 2023 formula where it was put up a bunch of points and then let your pass rush tee off on the opposing team's quarterback. Because I don't think if they're in these close games, I have a really bad feeling about their ability to stop the run. And I think you're going to see what the Bills exposed in 2023. You're going to see the exact same thing happen this season, where if teams want to run and the game's close enough to run, I think you're going to see teams run the ball.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing and then I'll let some other people speak. But I'd like to see them be open to making a trade for a defensive tackle, because at least with corner, you kind of know help is going to be on the way at some point with Ravel and Diggs and even Josh Butler, guy like that. But with defensive tackle, it's like, all right, this is what you got. So I hate to say, oh, we're going to be looking at the scrap heap when teams are cutting players, but I like to get like an actual bona fide starter. But if there's one position I'd hope they'd trade, whether it's before the regular season or early on in the season, like after they see Mozzie for a few weeks and guys like Solomon Thomas, who's more of like a pass rushing defensive lineman, I would like to see them do, at least kind of inquire with other teams, as opposed to, oh, we're open for business, but you guys got to come to us and call us. Now I want them going out and trying to find somebody and do their homework on that. So I'll listen. You guys are having a great conversations, and hope you all have a good night.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, brother. And you're one of the guys too that we should have shouted out on the show. Put us in the spot there. I don't know if you saw the episode on Cowboys Storyline where we went out to Oxnard. Sweet, yeah. You're one of the guys that we definitely did. We shout him out, Irene?
Did
we shout you out?
We did.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping next year I'll be on the West Coast, so hopefully we can make it happen.
Sweet, yeah. You're going to Vegas, I think you said. That's what's up.
Yes, sir. All right,
Wilson, my boy. Let's get you off the mute button there, sir. What's your outlook on the season? What are you thinking for 2025?
Yeah, so as you guys are talking, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think about my biggest concerns about the season, and me and you would agree a lot on a lot of things. The cornerback, defensive line, running the stop or stopping the run, and one thing that I really keep going back to in my mind is the red zone. We've really struggled, not just last year, even the year before, in the red zone. And I know it's Shotty's first season calling plays, fully. Um, So I'm really kind of excited and kind of worried just because I feel like he's going to get in his own head during the season, and especially this first game. I'm really just worried about one game at a time. This first game against Philly, with all the emotions and everything, I'm worried about how he's going to call this game, and just kind of get in his own head and then just kind of go all over the place. What do you think about that?
TBD, I guess. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of head coaches also being the play callers, and I think if Old Boy stays here for a couple of years, I think he'll probably relinquish that duty. But new head coach probably has some comfortability in being an offensive coordinator. I know he wasn't calling plays with McCarthy here, but I think it's fine for now. As far as him getting in his own head, we'll see. We'll see.
I will say so. I guess you kind of got to take Shoddy as a whole package, but I know I did find myself a little taken aback by reading that he got emotional before his first preseason game. But he is that guy. He is the way he talks to the players and interacts with the media and everybody. He is kind of hard on his sleeve guy. So I guess it shouldn't have surprised me. But at the same time, I was like, I don't need you to be all emotional before you start calling your first preseason game. I mean, it's game you don't even have starters in. So yeah, I kind of agree with you that I was a little, at least on that was concerned. So I'd probably be a little bit concerned going in. That was my first thought. It was like, how are you going to face the defending champs if you're getting emotional at preseason? But that's just me. I hope you can channel it. Oh, hello. Hey, Damien.
Hey, hey, Davion, we can't hear you, brother. There's a lot of background noise there. That's super loud. Sounds like you're on a roller coaster or something.
Would you
He
guys?
has alarms that like go off to tell him certain things at work, but they're like musical.
When you
Maybe.
guys were in the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
When you guys were in camp and you saw Dak up close, do you agree with multiple reports that he's in the best shape of his life? Did he look any different than what we usually see on TV?
My man looks sexy as hell. I don't even care. I'm just gonna say it. That's a good looking man. And we were like 3 feet from him, and he looked like he was in good shape. His brother looks like he's in good shape too. His brother might be able to play quarterback if Dak goes down. I don't know. They look like the same guy. But no, Dak looked great. I don't have other camps in person to compare to what he looked like, but he looked great to me. He's running around out there too. He took a lot of snaps, bootlegs and scrambles, and went outside the pocket and took off running. So I don't know if that's a precursor. Well. Yeah, he moved great. Now he's slow. He's like slower than Ben Roethlisberger. No, I'm just kidding. Not that slow, but he's kind of slow. But at least he's using his legs and moving. So hopefully that's a precursor to what we see more of this season, getting out of the pocket and going to pick up some 3rd and 5s when he can run.
Yeah, at least just try, especially when there's like a hole right there. We can see it on TV. Like we could see it. You have an opening, and he just doesn't take it. That's what irritates me the most.
It seems like that's one thing that Milton has kind of inspired in him, at least during camp. I mean, we'll see if it translates to real life, but he does seem a little bit more open to running. Now, I hope he's obviously be smart about it, but yeah, like you said, you have 4 yards for first down on 3rd, and just go get 4 and an inch and be done with it, and you don't need to get 26 yards. Just get the first down, keep the chains moving.
Now, if you want to go get 26 yards, have at it, brother. But
I mean, yeah, if it's
I don't know if he can run for 26 yards.
That's how he like had the whole freaking hamstring go off, like, which is insane. But yeah, no. To answer your question, he does look. He's not linebacker Dak anymore. He definitely is thinner, but it looks defined. So we'll see.
He's no Solomon Thomas though.
I'm really curious to see how he starts off this season, because last season was a disaster for him to start. I know he had that weird injury before the season started when I don't know who it was. Paparazzi saw him with that cast on. What was it? His hand or his foot? I don't remember if his foot, his ankle, right? Maybe was that it?
I think it was his lower body somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that just kind of played into this. I think he played that down, and that played a role. Maybe it didn't, but that's just my thought. Like they just didn't want to talk about it. But I think that kind of played a role in maybe the slow start that he had. So I'm hoping that he goes back to his fast start in the beginning of the season. He usually kind of settles down late in the season and doesn't really, play it all the way through like he does in the beginning. So I'm hoping that he at least has that strong start and gets us off to a good start.
So I 100% think that it was a worse. I don't think it was some tragic injury, but I had foot surgery. I don't know, 2015, I think, and I had to wear a walking boot for like I had different stages, but I think I had 3 or 4 weeks in a walking boot. I have never been in a walking boot again. So yeah, that's not nothing to wear a walking boot when you're in. I think he was like on a boat or in the water or something
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
weird. So
Yeah.
that was not. Oh, it's just precautionary soreness. Like it was a little more than that.
Agreed.
The best thing that can happen for Dak to start the season and for this team to start the season, I know they got some badasses at wide receiver. And by the way, we haven't even mentioned Jake Ferguson tonight. Okay, that's a guy who I think is going to benefit the most from the Pickens trade. That dude's in a contract. Well, not in a contract year anymore. He just got paid, which was smart of the Cowboys to pay him now, by the way. I love that deal. I know some people had issues with the timing of it. I thought, whatever, doesn't preclude you from negotiating with anybody else. You had a chance to get the deal done. You got it done. Great. Okay, good job. He's going to have a great season, I think, as long as everybody stays healthy. And but going back to my point, if they just can run the ball, if that interior offensive line can be everything that we expect them to be, the interior three, make some holes for whatever running backs in the game, I think that's going to pay dividends upon dividends for Dak Prescott and these receivers, including the best deep threat in the NFL, George Pickens, or one of top three probably. Let those safeties start cheating up a little bit, maybe stack some guys in the box and, send them deep one-on-one with a cornerback who's going to win every time. So I'm looking forward to that, but you got to run the ball consistently and successfully for that to happen.
Yeah, Jake Ferguson plays that physical game that I really love. I love the way he plays out there, and it's contagious to the other players too. And George Pickens, I'm sure is similar. CD's physical, so the guys on offense can do it. On defense, I'm a little worried. We have a couple guys, but I don't know, man. That defense worries the hell out of me. I know that we need to put up a lot of points this season, and that also worries me. I know we have the capability to do it, but every team can put up 30 points here and there. But we need to be consistent with it.
Got to be balanced because there's going to be games specifically too at the end of the year where you're not going to put up 35 points a game, right, against some of these better defenses. So can your defense prohibit the other team's offense from doing the same thing against you? 2023 couldn't do it. We'll see how they do this year.
Yeah, I'm excited for this first game. I'm there's a lot of Eagles fans at my work, and I really don't want to go up. I might have to take that day off, that Friday off, if we lose. I usually do the next day if we lose. I take a lot of days off.
My brother's over in my YouTube chat. What up, Bill? So he says, "What up, broski? Need to be able to run power and max K Turpin on some quick hits." 100% agree with you, my dog. 100% agree with you. And I think with this interior offensive line, I think they're going to be able to do that. And honestly, speaking of Turpin, we forget about him in the backfield. That's a guy that I'm looking forward to taking some snaps, 2-3 a game. It's a guy, he can run up the middle too. He took some snaps up the middle last season, and he's getting like 12 yards a carry at times doing that. So look for Turpin out there, man, in that backfield. I'm excited for him amongst the other plethora of bodies we'll have going on in that backfield. All right. Chris, what you got for me, bro?
Well, so where does that leave us? Where the big question is Dak. Like if we are as good or as bad as Dak is going to be this season, because I think we all have him kind of in the realm of like, okay, this is a no-brainer. He is the man, and he's going to get it done. So I think that what it really comes down to now is his performance. So, and I mean, and I'm not throwing it out there for the doubters and the haters or anything, but let's just see where we are with him. Let's see him come out there and Let's not make any, you know, big mistakes. Let's be the Dak that we think you're going to be. That's all.
Yeah, and that's kind of loaded too, right? Because I mean, quarterbacks get all the credit for wins, all the blame for losses, but we all know there's a bajillion and a half things that go into these games, these wins and losses. Starts with the offensive line, starts with the defensive line. All right, trenches on both sides. That's really your foundation for the entire team. If their offensive line sucks, if that left tackle sucks, there's a strong chance Dak Prescott is not going to have a great season. And so, is that on Dak? Is that on the front office? Is that on your left tackle? Like who do we blame, in that situation? But if everything is going well, right? If everything lines up and Dak has a clean pocket or clean enough pocket, if the receivers are getting open, right? Can Dak deliver? And we've seen him deliver every time that things are going well enough. I feel like Dak delivers. Now there's a couple playoff losses that they've had where that wasn't necessarily the case, specifically against San Francisco. But I have a lot of confidence in Dak, enough to say that he's one of the things that I'm least worried about this upcoming season. And hopefully I don't eat my words by saying that.
No, I agree. I agree. I'm not worried about Dak per se because now he's got his safety blanket plus two really, really good receivers. One who's probably top five, right? And then the other might be in the, I don't know. There's a lot of good second receivers, but he's probably in the top 12 Pickens, right? But if that line doesn't hold up, he's not gonna be able to throw to anybody, right? Or everyone. I don't know if he can cover everyone, to be honest, but if he doesn't have time, it's just not gonna matter. That's the problem.
With Dak goes is that correct me if I'm wrong, but every time Dak had a bad season, he always followed up with a good season.
Yep. Every
And
time he had a major injury, that's right.
and the other thing too is that you got a lot of these teams that are coming up. Their best pass rush thing is mostly up the middle. If you got a strong middle, you're better than if you don't have a weak tackle, because you could throw somebody out there to help out with your left tackle, but if they go up the middle, that's the quickest way to get a quarterback or to blow up plays is up the middle. So if you got a strong middle, you should be able to do things. And you can just look at it and go, I got the strong middle. Oh, here comes the guy on the left side. I'll go to the right. But as far as the preseason games go for this weekend, um, hopefully we have a better start with mixing up plays with Shoddy and also Milton having a good start too.
Well, they really got to get their evaluation pants on here with Phil Maffa and figure out what they're going to be doing with him. So I would hope they're going to put an emphasis on getting him a lot of touches this game to see what he can do. And I'm assuming Booker is probably going to play as well, so that'll help in the run blocking. Although the offensive line blocked pretty damn well last week, I'll say, specifically in the run game. They were making a lot of really nice holes for these guys. You see Maffa getting through 6 yards untouched. I mean, that's beautiful. So, Aaron, I'm sorry. How do you say your name?
Yeah, you said it right. It's Aaron.
There we go, my boy. What's going on?
Not much. Just wanted to jump in. I was in Nix's space earlier. Just wanted to see what y'all are talking about with either the Micah trade rumor BS going around or any of that contract drama. Or I heard you guys were talking about Dak. So just popping in, listening what you guys are chatting about.
I appreciate you stopping in, man, and thank you, Nix, for bringing your people with you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, the Micah stuff, what old Pretty Ricky, Slick Rick, whatever the hell his name is, put out there. He does
got
that.
Multiple accounts.
Yeah, and he does that, which is fine. He's doing his thing. He's right sometimes he's not. But this was very just out there, right? I'm sure a lot of teams probably have submitted trade requests for or proposals for Micah Parsons. So I mean, okay, whatever. I'll be worried once something goes down, right? So
exactly. I think actually Jane earlier put out a tweet saying there's been no team that's even sent an offer for Micah yet. So I guess that kind of kills any of those rumors that were out there. Which
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I trust Jane, but I don't know if no team has made an offer. That's kind of hard to
Look,
believe.
no, no,
But
look. I think Jane does phenomenal work, but I think also, for just being honest, sometimes she's not getting a clear picture. If that makes sense.
right,
Does
right,
phenomenal work there. She does phenomenal work though. Not
yeah,
taking away from that at all.
Yeah, it's all just rumors. Like, okay, whatever. Let me know when an actual proposal pops up and we get details of the proposal. Let me know if someone pulls a trigger on something. Until then, just
yeah.
like the rest of the contract talk, like, all right, it's just smoke and mirrors.
It's all speculation. I mean, to get people talking, I'm really exhausted of it at this point. Like, can we just sign him and move on, please? Like, sick of all of it.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Well,
Well,
it's time to be alive, y'all.
Nix, you said something earlier. Yeah, you put up a gif of some nature as like an eye roll or some whatever it was. You said it's a great time to be alive, and I'm like, man, this is like every day. It's just what it is to be a Cowboys fan. Just once the season gets here, it's all fun. But the other 8 months, 7, whatever it is, yeah,
And
it's
just
fun.
look, it's just unfortunate, right? Because the idea that a majority, if I'm wrong, correct me. I think a large portion of the fan base has this idea that they handle contracts in this way to stay in the headlines, right? I think but a large majority, over 50%, feels that way. Ultimately, what's funny to me, if that were the case, if you got Micah done around the combine, right? And then you made the trade for Pickens and you got that deal done and extended there. And then you had Tyler Smith done and you had Bland done. All of that, which by the way, we know they're talking to Bland. They know you want to extend Tyler Smith. Oh, and by the way, they got the Ferguson deal done. If they had done all that, you know what would be happening on the major networks and all of us in the spaces and everything else? We would be talking about the Cowboys still, just in a different light.
No doubt.
Yeah, and a positive one.
So the idea
Instead
that
of
they do things to be in the headlines, to me, I think is foolish because if they're doing things in a different way, they would still be talked about. It's just the same thing as everybody said. Well, imagine how much they'd be worth if they won. So they don't want to win. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, look at that on both sides. So no, I think they're, man, I hate to say this. I just think they're incompetent. I'm sorry.
Nix, I
I
love you,
think they're
bro.
very incompetent in how that works, bro. I just think they're incompetent in how they need to handle contracts when it comes to the NFL. Outside of football and contracts and everything in business they do, hey, I think they're pretty good at it. Hence their money and their worth and everything. I just think they're incompetent. To
Listen,
think that they're smart
when it
enough.
comes to running a
No,
football team,
wait.
they are.
If you think they're this ingenuous to do things this way to stay in the media and not pay people and cost themselves on record $84 million, y'all think that's competency or incompetent?
what you're talking about
Because
is
the
Hanlon's
headlines.
razor. It's called Hanlon's razor, and it's a principle that basically says avoid accusing or the assumption of malice, right? When there's an easier explanation like stupidity, right, or an error or a problem that they cause themselves by accident. I'm with you 1,000%. I've had that conversation 1,000 times. I just don't think they run this thing the best way. I think they think their way is the best way and they refuse to make any changes to it. But I don't think they're out here saying, man, we got to like fuck over our team to stay in the headlines. I don't think that's the case at all.
No, I think you know what ultimately, and here's where I'm wrong. Let me pull up to the table and tell you exactly where I've been wrong at. Because what I've said is they run this as the mom and pop's organization. I think that's too forgiving. Honestly, I'm wrong. I think that's too forgiving because I think it's incompetence. At the end of the day, I just think it is. And you know what, Loki? When I say they run this thing as a mom and pop shop, I think I'm giving them an out at this point. To be honest with y'all, I mean, I digress. I'll talk about Stockholm syndrome for the basic different things, but Lord Dilly and what you just broke down, brother, I'm with you 1,000% 10 toes down completely. You're absolutely right, brother.
You were right first. So yeah, 100%, bro. And listen, anything in life is that, right? I always try to start with that philosophy and then move on from there. Let's assume the best and then go from there. Yeah, man. I mean, with that said, Dark, I was gonna maybe start wrapping this thing up, but I see we still got people piling in here. Dark, I see your hand up. Go ahead, my guy.
Yeah, I just want to I was listening, but I want to give a quick retort to the whole marketing or idea about him keeping us in the headlines. I think that y'all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So I think that Jerry cited it a couple times this at that Netflix premiere, and I think afterwards about the marketing that the Cowboys being at the top. He specifically said it, and I think even when it first happened, and I think the whole Micah immediately after Micah had posted his trade request, I think Don Van Natta was the one that, like seconds later, said this is all part of Jerry Jones' marketing ploy, and he gains like $500 million, according to him, in whatever valuations that Don Van Natta does or whoever he gets it from, in marketing dollars from this. And I think Jerry also spoke to that. Most organizations have marketing dollars that they spend, and I'm not saying that the Cowboys don't spend any, but he's getting free pub from this. And then on top of that, with the NFL now acquiring all these rights into these networks, like I think they got like 10% of ESPN or whatever the case may be in this little merger. And then I think they got a part of Paramount, CBS. I think that all of that goes into what we're not necessarily seeing. I see it as incompetence, but I am starting to believe, or I'm having to believe, that it's a bigger play that we're just not seeing for him to continue this same pattern year after year after year. And we know what's going to happen. It's going to sometime in the next week, Micah's going to get signed just in time for him to have a couple practices and play the first game of the season. But for some reason, he continues with this way of doing this, especially with the biggest stars. And I do disagree from the point of, had we done this earlier, they wouldn't be the Cowboys wouldn't be getting 90, a big, because I think they get about 80 to 90% of most shows now, all during the dead period. They still would be getting a portion of the shows. I don't think it would be as much. And I yield my time.
So here's what I'll say. And this is just me personally. This is Dylan, Lord Dilly, on the Twitter and the YouTube. All right. If I believed or started to believe that the ownership, the general management of this team was purposefully sabotaging the football interests of this team for the marketing or the brand interests of this team, I personally would do everything in my power. Now, I have an addiction just like the rest of you. I'll admit it. All right. I'm addicted to this team. I would do my very best to not partake in anything Cowboys related at that point. Because what are we doing at that point? Like, what the hell is this all for? If that's actually the case, right? I can appreciate or account for stupidity or ignorance or whatever it might be. I can't roll with straight up malicious intent to sabotage the football team for the sake of the marketing and the brand. So I'm going to do everything in my power to refuse to believe they're doing that. And until I'm firmly convinced, I'll still partake in this sport and this game and this team. But once that changes, I'll be out.
Else.
My guy, Zach from Atlanta. I see you on here. What's going on, my brother? Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me, right?
Yeah, can hear you.
You said,
I
okay.
can
I
hear
think you
you.
said Zach, right? I heard Zach, you kind of faded out a little bit.
Oh, is Zach in Atlanta? You hear my boy?
I invited him to speak, but I see him as a listener on my end.
Oh, okay.
So.
Maybe I see him as a speaker. maybe my thing's just locking up.
You know how it goes. Hey, Eddie.
Yeah, Twitter's jacked up.
Go ahead.
Hey, Eddie, what up, my dude?
What up? What up? So yeah, I'm with you, dude. If we're
I'm gonna say right now, man, fuck Eddie
all
and
right,
his college football. I regress. Go ahead.
Why is it that every time
What's
Eddie
with the
jumps on a
college
mic,
football hate?
anytime Eddie jumps on a mic in any Twitter space, that's the first thing somebody says. It's wild. I'm not gonna do it though, Eddie, because we're K-pop fans, so that's cool.
Damn, what's with the college
No,
football
I
hate,
know,
Max?
This is
bro.
my
Look,
guy.
I'm
I
just
got
a
it.
chill
Look.
guy, bro.
I
I'm
know.
just a chill guy.
It's a San Diego weather. I gotta give Eddie a hard time.
I can tell it's all out of love. I'm sure.
Yeah, sure it is. But I want to say, hey, to your point, I'm good with the Joneses just being complete fucking morons. Pardon my French. But if they are sabotaging this stuff on purpose, and honestly, I wouldn't even say ego is sabotage. You're just kind of like too dumb to realize that you're getting in the way of your own like gain. You know what I mean? But if they are just for the clicks, just for the this, just for the that, and they're really prolonging things like this because of that, dude, that's just sabotaging your team. And I mean, I get it. They are somewhat doing it, but I think I agree with what Nick said, and what you said. Like, I don't know if they're knowingly doing it. I just think they're just. You have 99-year-old Jerry Jones and Steven Jones, who's never had a real job in his life. I don't think they really know what they're doing, and they're not smart enough to realize. And I don't know how true that report is that they cost them $84 million to get these deals done in time or whatever the case may be. But even if it was two-thirds of that, I think that would probably be a fair number. I mean, dude, you're still in the what, $60 million roughly, or no, like $50 million. Like you're killing yourself on. Like, I don't know, dude. It's unfortunate. I just I won't be a fan of another team, and I won't relinquish my fandom for the Cowboys. But it's really hard to look at this team and say they're really gonna win a Super Bowl without a whole lot of luck on their side. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think they've done pretty much as they could possibly do this offseason with this Micah contract to take away all the kind of happiness and the some of the good work that they actually have done in the for the first time in like 3 or 4 years. They've done everything they can to kind of take away the hopes, the dreams, and maybe even, dare I say it, some of the praise. And it's stupid. I don't know why they do it or if they even know what they're doing, but it's complete lunacy at this point.
Yeah, they had a good free agency and they had a good draft. They've done well. So
They had a good
you're right.
offseason up until Jerry opened his mouth at the presser in Oxnard. You know what I mean? Like
That's when it started going downhill from there.
they hired the coaches, and I said this before, bro. Like, look, you might not like the coach or how they hired the coach, but that was their decision. That's who they wanted. They made the decision. Now, with that being said, like they went out and got phenomenal position coaches. They built the thing up where you're feeling pretty happy. Did they go out and make the big splash in free agency? No, not necessarily, but did they do more than what they've done since probably the Brandon Carr slash Morris Claiborne trade up? Whether you like how that worked out or not, at least it was something where they looked like they were trying. I think this is probably a very comparable offseason to that. Um, if not better, actually. But it kind of you get to the Oxnard and Jerry Jones opens his mouth, and then it's like, oh God, here we are again. Like this is really what we're doing, and it's like all the good and the happiness that we got from the off season up until that point was basically dead. And instead of saying, you know what, like we're gonna clean this up and we're gonna just get this deal done, it's like here we are, what, 2 weeks into camp, 3 weeks into camp, and still nothing. So I don't know, man. The Cowboys work in mysterious ways, and honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily work or stupidity, or maybe it is self sabotage. I have no idea, but I would hope at some point they wake up or smarten up and figure out how to get through this shit without looking like complete morons.
Yeah. I don't know what to add to that. I mean, you nailed it all. And it's a shame they had a lot of holes heading into this off season. And they took those holes and turned them into question marks. So props to them. But you're right. This whole Micah thing kind of puts a downer on all the good work they did. Outlaw, let me go to
Just
you, my
wait till
brother.
next year. Imagine what that's going to look like. It's even worse next year than what we had to deal with this offseason.
Oh
Oh
yeah, they got
God, you're gonna have Bland, Tyler Smith up for
Screw holes. You're
contracts.
going to have craters, dude. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to
yeah.
fill
Let's
them in,
pull up
dude.
the.
Yep,
Hey Irene,
they keep
can you run
operating
this for me
this
for a
way.
second? I'm having internet issues here.
Sure. Yeah, I saw Outlaw's hand was up, but oh, there he is as a speaker. Cool.
Screw Outlaw. Hey, I'm going to pass the buck.
Well, I was literally about to say fuck Eddie because he stole my talking point, but no, I'll go ahead and elaborate on that.
Such is life.
So I think it's absolutely a combination of both to do with the Joneses. I think they are absolutely incompetent. I think Steven is somehow worse than Jerry in that area. And I think their incompetence has them to the delusional point of thinking that they can operate the way that they currently do and stay in the headlines, positive for them, right? Without hurting their team. I think they truly believe that it doesn't hurt their team to
Outlaw
operate
talking.
this way. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, Outlaw
I
is
can hear you.
talking. Yeah, Outlaw is
Oh
talking
shit. Okay,
intelligently.
well, my bad. My
Oh,
fault, Outlaw. I'm gonna drop and come back then. It must be on my end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Outlaw. I'm gonna drop and come back.
But yeah, no, I fully believe that they think this is, 100% acceptable to operate this way. And I don't think they believe it's detrimental to the team because honestly, they have told us time and time again they're draft and develop team, right? So is every other 31 teams in the NFL, granted. So that's a stupid comment in the first place. But historically, they don't spend in free agency, right? So if they're kind of have an introspective look at themselves and they're like, well, it doesn't really matter if we pay our guys a little bit more because we're not going to go spend that extra money in free agency anyways, right? We don't go and get marquee guys in free agency. We just go and fill roster holes and develop our own. So I 1000% think it's a case where they believe it's fine to operate the way they do, and it's also incompetent in the same breath.
you did touch on something, Outlaw. It is pretty funny that they think they're a draft and develop team, but then they won't go spend in free agency or pay their players. Although they cave to most of them anyway, but it's like, all right, what are you actually doing?
And they won't. The funny thing is, they won't pay, or I guess they eventually will. But in Micah's case, they won't pay the very player that they are drafting and
Right.
developing.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
hilarious part.
Yep.
So they don't believe in their draft picks and their evaluation. Is that what we're saying? I mean,
I
that's
think they
I
do.
mean,
I just
yeah.
think they I think Jerry really believes in the marketing opportunities you get as being a Cowboys player. And there is some truth to that for sure, but you know, in this day and age, people who are good at marketing themselves become marketable. And also like look at these freaking Commanders near me. Jaden Daniels doesn't have a problem getting on commercials. You know, he's not with the Cowboys, but your team has success, then you have success in that. So
Yeah, we're not
yeah.
living in
And I mean,
1995 where TV
we
commercials are, where the money's made. There's 1,000
yeah.
bajillion opportunities out there, so
and
that's
we've
out the
got
window.
to look. The world is on a global economy, right? And when it comes to like marketing, it's pretty much a global marketing thing. Like you can go. It doesn't matter. It's like basketball. Giannis can get endorsement deals and all that stuff playing in Milwaukee 20, 30 years ago. That guy would have never got a second or would have signed a second contract with Milwaukee. He would have went to the Lakers, the Knicks, etc., because those are really the opportunities to make money off the court.
Yep.
But that's just, I mean, basketball has kind of paved the way, and you see it with football players, but football players aren't as highly marketed as NBA players. But Giannis staying with Milwaukee, and you see, all these other guys kind of staying in the teams that are kind of in the middle of nowhere that never got any marketing deals in the past. Man, they have podcasts, they get Gatorade commercials, all these things because It's just marketing is marketing. Exactly to your point. If you're a marketable person, you're going to be able to go out and get endorsement deals. Point blank period. So it's just I think the Joneses actually believe that the only way you're going to be able to get a deal is if you're back in the 80s or 90s and you're with a handful of teams and that's where the opportunities are. And thank goodness you're on the Dallas Cowboys, because guess what? If you weren't, you wouldn't be able to get these off the field deals. And it's like that's just not the case, Jerry and Steven. And then that goes into them being dumb or incompetent or maybe all of the above.
Well, everything goes back to an antiquated thought process with those two. I mean, you got Jerry still thinking that handshake deals are gonna fly in today's NFL. Like that in itself just says screams incompetence, and it screams delusion, and every other word you can use to attribute to a guy that has that sort of thought process going on. It's just it doesn't work, right? You can't run a team this way, and of course, we've seen the results from trying to run a team this way over the last 30 years now. So, again, since Nick's is back in here and he was talking on it earlier, I just think, Knicks, it's very much a combination of not only incompetence by the Joneses themselves, but I fully believe that they think the way that they do things isn't incompetent at all, and they think that stringing these big name contracts out isn't detrimental to their team. I truly believe that. I think it's both, right? And I think that they do it to stay in the headlines because of the reasons that everybody else spoke on. So I think it's a mishmash of just bullshit, right? That ends up in really what we see going on right now. I don't think it's just necessarily one or the other.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the contracts for next year because someone mentioned, I think it was Eddie. Boy, it's going to be a fun year. I'm going to make a post about that later. It's going to be a fun offseason.
Like literally, the Cowboys need to get Micah, Bland, and Tyler Smith done, and that paves the way to you have an opportunity to keep Pickens. Oh, and for shits and giggles, y'all know me. Y'all follow me for a long time. Hashtag special teams matter. Brandon Aubrey's on last year visit as well too. So go ahead and knock that out, if you will. Okay, and that paves the way to get Pickens done next year. But yeah, hey man, I
Got
digress.
Sam Williams next year. Have to make a decision on him.
See, I think Sam's gone.
Yeah, I could be. It just depends how he plays this year, but he could be a sacrifice guy.
I mean, you got
Wanye,
Nyland,
obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if he plays the top of way, maybe you want to bring him back. But yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't know about Sam. Like Sanborn, Kenneth Murray. All right. I mean, even Elam. Okay, we'll see. All of them last year or the final year of their contracts.
I mean, Knicks, we're basically going to be right back in the same situation we were this offseason with all these
Well,
one-year
would you look at
contracts.
that?
On top of having, four guys that need to get extensions, like that need it, right? Not the guys we can't afford to let go that you just mentioned, plus all the other issues. So, it's going to be compounded. It'll be even worse than it was going into the last offseason. And I'm not trying to be the, gray cloud guy raining on everybody's
Tolbert,
parade,
Pickens.
but it's only going to get worse, right?
Well, and here's what's fun about your cap next year too. Is your quarterback. They're going to be running out of restructure opportunities with him real soon. I don't know if they can restructure next year or not, but after the restructure this year, he was at 16% of your cap. He's going to be 25% next year. So you're working with 10% less cap space as well to navigate the offseason next year, unless they can do something with his contract. Which again, I don't. Nick, you touched on it earlier in your space. I don't love them doing that again. If they can even do it again, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're working with less money next year than they are this year. So gonna be good times. Good times.
Sounds awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm gonna step away for just a minute. Irene, if you could run this for a minute, I'd appreciate that.
Because we're not a Super Bowl contender right now, and then next year it's going to be worse. So awesome.
I mean, we don't have to be right. It's about what you do now. Like I've said before, time and time again, you win championships top down in organizations. And what you're doing right now in contracts you knock out paves the way for you to get somewhere. Mind you, we have a completely different coaching staff on offensive defense to build the blocks this year to go attack it next year. But I mean, play super games, win super prizes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're in uncharted territory. You got a player that requested to be traded. It's never happened before. It's never happened in the Jerry Jones era. It's never happened, to my knowledge. And does it really matter how we want to look at or believe what Ricky the dog says, and you want to buy what he does or don't want to buy what he does? Ultimately, no matter how many of the accounts he's had, 3 or 4, he's betted over 60%. Says there's a deal there. Is there a deal there? I don't know. That's up for conjecture. But you're only here now about that because of how you've handled business. That's why I said, man, I'm just over the last 3 days going through it and going back and forth. It's just incompetency. There's no other way to address how they're handling this. You have a guy say we had a handshake deal and a contract because my guy True Cowboy earlier, he was in the space, my space I was running, and talking about, I mean, that's a lot of money, 200 million, blah, blah, blah. He's got to fork that over. Okay, cool. That's what you say. You're not wrong. But Jerry Lewis is telling y'all, well, I wrote that shit down on a napkin. 200 million on a napkin.
For your, arguably your best player on the team, that's how you
And
negotiate contracts.
that's not what's the term, Eddie? Hyperbole, hyperbolic. What is that term, Eddie?
Hyperbole,
Hyperbole. Yeah.
hyperbole.
No,
I
no.
don't know.
Yeah, whatever that term is. Jerry said it. He wrote a $200 million deal on a fucking napkin. Out of his own mouth with a handshake. And the deal's not done.
Jerry's still living in the 90s, man. That's exactly what it is.
Fuck the
You know,
90s. He's living in the
hey,
70s and 80s with that.
hey, Outlaw. Did he double down with? He doubled down with. I bought the Cowboys on a handshake deal. That's what he said. So if I had one question now forever to ask Jerry, I said when you shook hands on the deal, never mind that you had to fire Tom Landry. Neither here nor there. Did you hand over a briefcase of money? You shook the hand and handed a briefcase of money over. No language, no paperwork, no nothing. I shook a hand and handed over money. It was mine. Back in 1980, was it 88, 89?
89, yeah.
That's what you did, 89? But you thought on a fucking napkin in 25, you're good? We got to be better. We got
Without
to be better as a
contacting
fan
the
base.
agent, too. Don't
Man, we
forget
got to,
that.
I mean, I ain't even about the agent. There's nothing. You're not wrong. I'm just saying, you can't sell me wolf tickets. I've said this. He's a great snake oil, right? Salesman, whatever.
Yep.
I shook hands about the Cowboys in 89. Stop lying. You didn't. You didn't. You might have shook dude's hand, and then there's a piece of paper, and you wrote it, and
Yeah,
some money went
physical
to
contract.
escrow. Right, and shit went to escrow the whole night. And by the way, if y'all had the handshake deal on napkin and everything else, and y'all were good, so he shook your hand. It was on a napkin. I'm good. What is the next thing? That's all. That's all Micah can do. Yes, I agree. It's on a napkin. I shook your hand. This is exactly what Jerry said happened currently. Now, what does Jerry have to do from that standpoint?
Tell his son's bartender
Oh,
contract
there you
guy
go.
to send some paperwork over.
And there's nothing else happened.
And it's bullshit because guess what? You have to file all this stuff, whether you're selling a team, buying a team, signing a player, all that stuff. Everything got to go through the NFL, anyways.
The league office.
You can come up with an agreement and you can negotiate it, but once you're ready to do it, it still has to go to the league office. When you're buying a football team, I'm pretty sure it works the same way in 1980s as it does today. They got to bet the owners buying the team.
Eddie, you know what Jerry should have did? Like right then and there, when they had the handshake, it was on a napkin. Right then and there, he should have handed Jerry Jr. Not even Steven. I can't trust Steven with this. I'm handing to Jerry Jr. Photocopy this 3 times, and I'm sending one to Micah's agent and one to the office, and we're good. Maybe by pigeon carrier. Forget faxing. We're gonna send it by a fucking pigeon carrier. Fuck it.
Really old fashioned.
Like this shit is asinine. That's why I said I just got to the point today as I've just racked my brain And look, it's stupid. Should I be laying in bed not thinking about
You're
why
in
the
the
fuck is this shit
Matrix,
not
bro.
happening? Okay, well I'm back now. Am I back now?
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay. Look, and I lay in bed and I'm like, damn, why is they having trying to wreck my brain, thinking about it, whatever? It's dumb. I've thought too hard about it. They're just incompetent. That's
Well,
the bottom line. They're just incompetent.
Nick, you know what's crazy though? Don't know any other NFL fan that's not a Cowboys fan that I've ever heard say every time my GM gets on, in front of a microphone or a camera, he's probably lying. And we are a fan base that every single time Jerry gets put in front of a camera or microphone, he at least is telling one or two lies, just flat out to everybody when we know better. That's what's insane to me. The dude just doesn't know how to be straightforward. And that's embarrassing as someone that runs an organization as big as the Cowboys, man. It's just that's that's insanity to me. The dude can't tell the truth to save his fucking life. He's just a snake in the grass.
But here's the thing, though, with Jerry. At least Jerry's got that, or had, I don't know about it anymore, because I don't think he's getting too old, but he at least had that old man charm. But when Steven gets in front of the microphone, you can tell he's full of shit. He's lying about everything, and nobody likes him on top of it. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
we
No
got
one
that to look
clapped
forward
for
to.
him in the shoddy intro presser. Like,
He's baby Huey, man. He's an absolute moron. And anytime he tries to sit in with any of the players and do one-on-one contract negotiations, he screws it up. Like there's nothing he does good. He's
We
just a
had
nepo baby.
we had this conversation before some of the storyliners, and Jerry's the guy that you work with, and you see he's on the schedule. And he's like, "Oh, this old guy. All right, well, that's all right." But Steven's on the schedule, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta call out. I can't come to work today." You know what I mean? Like nobody likes
I can
Steven.
barely hear what you're saying. You keep fading in and out really
yeah,
bad.
it's fading in and out for
Damn
me
it!
too.
All right, hold up. I'm gonna try to fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop calling him Jerry and I'm gonna start calling him geriatric because that's what he is now.
Nice.
I love
You know
that.
what Jerry is? You know when you're in a hurry and you're at like Target and then you're
It's
like trying
killing
to go
me.
through the lanes and you have to buy
Internet
something
is
because you're on
killing
your
me.
way to a party or some shit and you're just like, fuck, dude, which lane do I pick? And as soon as you seen the old man in the lane and he has like maybe there's 4 people in his lane and there's 8 people in front of like the 22-year-old that's working there, you always go to the 22-year-old because you know there ain't no fucking way that the old man with 4 people is gonna get to you within the next 30 minutes. That's basically Jerry Jones. Like, it's such a young man's game when it comes to like general managers and how to operate within the NFL for the most part. These old people just, and this isn't to be, I guess, ageism or whatever, but like older people are not excelling at general manager jobs across pretty much any sport, but especially the NFL. Um, he's just way past his time, dude. He's not forward thinking. He's not able to. Um,
There's no way to relate to the players now. The age gap is just tremendous.
well, for sure that, but just like even just being forward thinking as far as how to get contracts done and how to work everything within the cap and think 2, 3, 4 years down the line when your time span might be 6 months down the line if you're lucky. Who knows what he's thinking as far as how much time he has, let alone let's worry about what these contracts look like in 2 to 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, he's got the Grim Reaper chasing him, bro. Every time he wakes up. What do you mean?
So yeah, man, it's hard to do business that way in the NFL or honestly any sport. The
He
young
lives
guys
his
are really.
listen. He lives his life one McGriddle at a time. All right, so
Look, if I was a billionaire
With
and
some
I
extra
I can
salt.
live, if I was a billionaire and can live a McGriddle at a time, I would probably be doing the same thing. But I'm not a billionaire, and McGriddles for McGriddle meals like $12 out here in California. So
All right, let's hopefully y'all can hear me now. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep,
Can
yep,
hear you.
That's
Yep.
much better.
All right. Let's
Hey,
wrap this up with a good Irene, go ahead before I
I
do
was
my
about to
thing.
say that I gotta duck out, but it sounds like you're wrapping up. So
All
there you go.
right.
I just added Angry Cowboy and Sam, so if they wanna talk, before you wrap up or while you wrap up, that'd be great.
Yeah, this is Sam from Corpus Christi. Hey, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. What's up, Sam?
I just got in from Oxnard. I got in about 2 hours ago. But I just want to say how fun it was being out there. Hopefully next year I can make it when y'all get there. But I went to the Country Corner Cafe at the recommendation of Jesse Holly, and the owner there was telling us that Deron Bland and his agent were there negotiating or getting ready to negotiate something.
Yeah, they've been
So,
negotiating for a while now.
so probably, more than likely, of course, nothing's going to happen until the beginning of next season. So, but but I just wanted to say um, I'm happy to be in this community, and I'll be more involved as soon as hopefully I get a chance to retire from my job in a couple of months, and I'll be able to really be involved.
Oh, no doubt, brother. And we'll head to the Oxnard again next year, and you want to come with? That's cool. We'll got to plan it all out, but yeah,
Heck
we
yeah.
got room for you.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
sorry
my.
we switched the dates on you. I know you wanted to come with us, but that
Oh no, I
but
have
I'm
fun.
glad you had a good time, man.
I try to go every year, but the last 2 years I've made it. So,
We'll
but
get you for sure next year.
okay. Well, I'm gonna jump in the shower, fellas. So I'll talk to y'all next week.
All right, Sam. We'll see you.
Okay.
Angry Cowboys fan, what you got? You want to jump on the mic? Feel free.
Yo, my bad, everybody. Can y'all hear me all right?
We can.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
I just
the best voice in the game. Shout out to my guy Angry, the best voice in the game. Go ahead.
It is very sexy voice. I'm not gonna lie. I like it.
I appreciate that. I just want to say, I mean, it's off the topic, but I appreciate every single time y'all come up in these spaces, man, because I learn something every single time I come in here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank you for even allowing me to get a mic. Real talk.
Hell yeah, dog. I listen to you sometimes in Nix's spaces. You always got good stuff, so appreciate you.
And also anybody, y'all know I have the YouTube channel. Would anybody mind coming up and just talking?
Angry. Man, stop playing with me. Just let me know, dog. I got you. Man,
Word.
like I don't care. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I do not care. I've had people in Miami. Bro, I'll pull up. If you're doing the right thing and the right content, I'll pull up. Look, y'all see me in places I pull up at. There's a reason. When you don't see me in look, shout out to Denzel Washington. All money ain't good money.
Right.
You'll
Yes,
see where I
sir.
pull up. You'll see where I pull up. I'm good. I look, but I'm gonna pull up the shit I don't believe in. So yeah, bro, you got me. Hey, just let me know whenever.
Because I see your post, and that's one thing that I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to veer into that whole, new media veering into the 3 and 4 letter networks and what they do. So I definitely want
This isn't my space, and this is Irene. I was trying to tag you, Irene. You're just about to leave it, so I didn't tag you as I reposted it. I'm sorry, Irene. I sort of my guy. If I can clarify that real quick, if that is okay.
Clarify
If,
away.
if my post about content and whatever, I put in the jumbo. If it's okay, if I can clarify that real quick for everybody.
Oh,
If
have at
not,
it, bro.
then I'll take
Yeah,
my
have
own
at it.
time.
Nah, do it up.
Look, okay, bet. So very clearly, I started doing NFL I was on an NFL podcast, and it doesn't matter. I was somewhere else, and I did that for a couple of years. But my passion was really Cowboys, and I pivoted and kind of got into that. Long story short, I'm not going to do everything, but I think a lot of people, or I don't say a lot, I'm just saying in general, I started it in a lane because I didn't like how the Cowboys were being covered. Ultimately, for me, that's how I looked at it. And then I kind of watched people come along. Some came and went, some are still here, whatever the case may be. It's all good, right? But unfortunately, and we even see Eagles creators capitalize off of Cowboys content. I digress. But within the spectrum, I just look, man, I just watch it and see it. I think real content is real content. And I think the basis of what a lot of people did in content creation or new media, all the Stephen Jones hashtags was about giving you a different take than what we were getting in the big litter networks. And I thought that's really what it should be about. And unfortunately, I think I started seeing the cracks a little bit last year, and I had some conversations at times. But I'm just watching on full display this year. Unfortunately, it's not my job to name names or whatever. Follow who you like, watch who you like. It's not for me to tell you that. I'm telling you from my perspective. It's not the same that it once was. Is there money involved? Sure. When money gets involved, things happen, whatever. I don't know. But I do this from a whole for me and always. If you listen to me, for those, there are some here that I can see that have been rocking with me for 5 years. I've been doing this for 6, but I know some people here right now rocking with me for 5 years that know my same stances that I was going about last 5 years ago is the same right now. And I think that's where it should be. And that's just not where the game is. No disrespect to anybody. Get your bag, do what you do, but I ain't got to be a part of it, and I won't be a part of it. And unfortunately, I think for the greater good of the Cowboys nation, when the storyliners are doing their thing and they're trying to come here and have a conversation, I think it dilutes the product. I think when you got people coming in here with different takes of things and something on original points, and they're trying to land their plane, like I just think that's I don't know. For me, I just think it's crazy to a certain extent. But um no hate on nobody. I'm just like, man, this just ain't what this game was 3 years ago to where it is now. And I wish it was been different. I wish it was better. Right. But hey, so to those that do it holistically in the right realm, and those who want to chase a bag, but I won't be on your block. You know what I'm saying? And those that are, I will be on your block. And I don't care if you got 2 followers or fucking 5,000 followers, or 10,000 or a million. Yeah, whatever. I don't care how many followers you got. If I run what you ask me, I'm gonna always pull up. It don't matter. That's my point. No disrespect to anybody, just in general. I'm just looking at this thing evolve in real time, and yeah, it's just not what it was 3 years ago.
So you're telling me you'd never get on a live with Ernie? Is that what you're telling me next?
Oh
Man, if I
no.
could look, that's one
Hey,
name I
I'm
would.
just
Oh, no,
joking, man.
oh no,
I'm
no, no,
just
no.
joking.
But I won't. If I could shoot one account, not the person, but one account to the sun, yeah, it would be Ernie for sure.
That man got
That's
that
the only
block
name I'll
button
draw.
many moons ago for me. That's a yeah. I'm with
I've
you,
been
bro.
I've been trying to get Nick's on my YouTube for a minute. He won't
Lord,
do
hey,
it.
hey, 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 Lord, don't blink, don't blink, Lord. That's what Ernie goes. Eddie, shut up. You ain't even got a YouTube. Stop lying to me.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. My
So yeah, that's right.
You was just on the street with me last week. Stop playing with me.
That's funny as hell, dude.
I've been meaning to create one. My bad.
Yeah, well, when you create one, I'll pull up. But for those that are not a part of the storyliners community, as I'm just now getting my community off the ground, I implore all y'all, Dilly, Irene, like these cats do it right. These are the people you should be plugged into. Make sure you go join their community and what they're doing
Appreciate
for
that,
sure.
Nix. Appreciate that. And I think basically all the storyliners probably know who you are by now, but anybody who's part of the storyliners community, same thing. Nick's got his own thing going on. He's kind of the spaces king, I think, on here. Every time he's got spaces pulled up throughout the day or at night, people be joining there. So Nick's is one of the good ones for sure.
Well, and he's
Well,
got
I mean,
that.
thank you.
As the star turns, everybody needs to go jump in on that as well. The community
Yeah,
here on X.
on the other side,
We're
yeah,
trying
we're
to build
building
that
that
up
as
as
well.
well.
No, absolutely,
Yep, no doubt,
absolutely.
no doubt. But let me
Irene said I'm back. Irene said I'm back. Welcome back, Irene.
Irene just can't
Oh,
get
I'm
enough.
back. No, I don't know. I keep losing my connection though, so I had to
Is your wife?
request this
Oh,
request.
yeah, I
So
feel you. Yeah, I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
there. Tough
Thank you for the
times.
plug. I will say I don't count myself as a content creator. Dylan, I do. You, Nix, as the star turns.
No,
Everybody who's in our group and that has
Irene,
the look.
Irene, you do the work for your community, and you bring it up and talk right football. That unequivocally makes you a creator.
Oh, okay.
Period.
All right.
So,
I'll take it. High praise from you, man.
Irene's actually the reason we all got out to Oxnard a couple weeks ago. So mad props to Irene. Anybody who hasn't watched the episode, we all got to go chill with Nick Eatman on his show for about a half
let's
hour out in
go.
Oxnard.
Can I tell you my favorite story about Nick Eatman of all time? Can I give you
Yes, please,
my
please
favorite
do.
story about
Please
Nick
do.
Eatman? Hey, do y'all know about the story about him pulling up on Ed Water or no?
No, but I want to hear about it now.
Oh, look, pause, because I don't remember the particular situation or press conference it was, but you can ask him. Hey, Ed was over there. He was kind of popping or whatever, and Nick pulled up on him, and Ed fired at him talking about, well, it's easy for you to say because you're getting paid by Jerry. And Ed let his nuts hang. Pause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I do apologize. Ed's like, now can you catch me outside? Basically, I paraphrase a lot of things. If you ever get an opportunity to talk to, if you ever get an opportunity to talk to Nick, ask him about the Ed Water interaction. This is like back in, I feel like circa 2015, 16, somewhere around there. Oh yeah. Hey, Nick gave Ed Water that work though. If you ever get an opportunity, ask him about it.
That is not something I'd expect out of Ed. That's kind of funny.
No, it was. Well, Ed well, I mean, Nick shot at him, and then Ed thought it was all great. I'm like, oh yeah, well, you work for the team. Hey, what Ed didn't realize was Nick was about that life.
I don't know if I can call into his show and ask him that question, but next time he's on the space, because he joins the space sometimes. Next time he's on here, or next time we see him in person, one way or the other.
Next time he's in the space, don't ask him. Pull me up, and look, I'll keep y'all safe. Pull me up. I'll definitely just let me say, Ed's here. Oh, no, not Ed. And whenever Nick's here, just hit me. I'm going to put, hey, tell me about that Ed interaction. I got you. I'll cover y'all. I'll be the fence there. We'll fix that for y'all.
Did that happen at the Rudder Room out in California? That little dive bar?
This was in Dallas. Yeah, no, this was in Dallas. It wasn't out there. It wasn't at training camp. I know that for sure. I can't remember what presser it was, but it was for sure in Dallas, for sure. It was not out there at training camp.
Damn, I'm curious now. I'm curious.
Dylan and Irene, y'all.
Shout out to Lord though. You said Rudder Room. He's a veteran now out in Oxford. He said the Rudder Room.
Oh, dude, funny story. We went to Rudder Room the first night because they told us about it. Right? They're like, yeah, this place is like where all the media guys go. So we walk in, we're like, what the fuck is this place? Like, it's a little tiny dive bar. We went out back at the beaches there, so that's cool. But we left within like 10 minutes and went down the road to another bar. And then like the next night, we're like, let's go to Rudder Room, but let's give it another shot. And we went there.
There you go.
And it grew on us. And so we went there every single night, basically. It was awesome. And yeah, Todd Archer was there. Tommy Yarish came out. Kyle Yeomans came out one night.
Shout out to Tommy, cool guy.
Oh, Tommy's hilarious, dude. You get a couple drinks in him. He's a funny guy. My God.
So Tommy ended up rolling into my space. He didn't realize that he didn't join anonymously, so he had to speak. That shit was wild. It was so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get these guys. I could probably finagle Kyle and Tommy into a space one of these days. I'm gonna try to get them on here. Kyle's trying to start his own spaces because he was talking about he's gone into a couple of yours, I think. Yeomans. He said he might be exploring doing some spaces. So
I got a story about Kyle Yeomans.
Let's hear it. You got all the juice.
Kyle used to come into spaces a little bit about, this is like 2 seasons ago. So we get through the not last year, but the year before that. And then he hits me. We DM a little bit. And he was like, hey, are you doing post-game spaces? Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do post-game spaces, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, I need to get with you, get a call. I'm like, I bet, just hit me up. It's all good. So like a week went by. And I never got a call or nothing. I was like, okay, that's weird. So I hit him back. Yo, I don't know if I missed your call or not. Hey, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Is what it is. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get with you. And then it was nothing again. And then magically, if you pay attention to the Cowboys, they started doing the final word after the post games. And I was like, oh, that's okay. Well, not the first word. Oh, no, the first word. That's what they call it. The first word after the post games, not the final word. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I didn't hear from Kyle since. But hey, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I've ghosted a lot of things for people at times. It's fine, and it's whatever. I have no ill will. Shout out to Kyle. He does phenomenal work. No ifs or buts about it. And there's opportunity there apparently, but it just didn't cross the finish line, and wasn't able to put that together. So.
For what it's worth, we were chatting, right? And I said, you know Nick, because he was about spaces. So I go, Nick, he's kind of like the king of the Twitter spaces for the Cowboys, right? And he goes, yeah, I know about Nick. He's like, Nick does good work. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you ever want to jump into a space, that's probably the guy you want to jump in with and just pick his brain on how to get people in and all that. And he said he was going to reach out to you, so I don't know. But, I mean, he knew you, and he said you do good work. So for whatever that's worth.
We've crossed paths. Yeah, I mean, again, Kyle's good people. But, I mean, whenever you have a contract, you're tied to things. There's only so much you can do. Like I said, I never took it as I never took it as disrespect or whatever the case may be. It's like we had something, we were working on something, it didn't fall through. He's not the only one. There's a lot of people, and then I've had some things lined up with other people, but the contract said it couldn't happen. So I mean, things happen. I mean, it's just a part of the game. None of this. I mean, this is all business or having fun, fandom. If it doesn't come to fruition, man, I don't take that shit personally. And I don't think they do either. Like it's just part of the game.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, I send these guys Twitter messages and I don't get responses sometimes. I'm like, oh. Some people would be like, "What the fuck, bro?" I'm like, okay, well, I'll just message them again another time. Like, whatever, ain't no big thing.
And sometimes you get left on red, and it's like, oh well, I shot my shot. It is what it is.
Yeah, but then I'll get a response like a week later. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's a little late, but that's cool.
It's like, well, all right, cool. Yeah, no thanks.
Damn. All right, I couldn't know I'm not the only one that struggles there. That's funny. All right, let me get you guys' thoughts on this because we gotta wrap this up at some point here. We're 3 hours in, 4 hours in. But if we keep getting people in, we'll keep going. But let me get y'all's thoughts. Angry, I don't think we heard your thoughts on this, bro, and I want to hear that voice again. What are your thoughts on?
Hey, I really do have to duck out, so I want to say bye to everybody. Nix, thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely, Irene. Anytime. Appreciate you.
See ya, Irene. Yeah, and my Twitter's jacked up, so I can't even see who's listening and who's a speaker. So if I call on somebody who's not a speaker anymore, just let me know. But Angry, I'm gonna call on you, my boy, if you're here still. What are your thoughts on this game coming up? Give me one player or one position that you really want to see this weekend?
I think my answer is going to be a little generic, but I continue to want to see Joe Milton progress. And the reason why I continue to want to see Joe Milton progress is because I want a legitimate backup to Dak Prescott, somebody that can stay with the Dallas Cowboys for years and potentially take over in the case of something happening. So I don't want Joe Milton to fall by the wayside like a Trey Lance did. He has potential, and I just want to see him continue to build on that potential.
Okay, so at what point then, if you want to see Milton, I get that 100%. At what point do you think you potentially pull the plug on him in this game if he's struggling and you want to eval the receivers, running backs, etc.? Is there a point where you pull that plug?
All together or just in the game in general?
Just in the game.
Well, if he is struggling through the first 3 quarters, then I'll pull him at the start of the fourth.
Okay, so he's got a pretty long leash with you then. That's cool.
I mean, because for the simple fact, we know what Will Greer is capable of. We know what he can do. It's just Milton is that huge question mark for me, and plus he needs the reps. I know it sounds generic, but
no, I mean that makes sense. I guess my only thought is, you got 4 guys fighting for wide receiver 6, assuming Mingo is safe, which I think that's a pretty safe assumption that he's probably wide receiver 4 or 5 or whatever. So you got probably 4 guys battling it out. Nick said earlier, which he's 100% right, special teams is a big part of that. But you do want to see potential development for these guys down the road. Who you want to keep, who you want to let go, etc. There is a point where it's like, okay, if he's overthrowing these wide open guys or whatever it might be, we got to get the balls in these guys' hands. So there is a point, I don't know when that point is, but there's a point where you got to sit Milton if he's struggling for the sake of the wide receivers, I think for sure.
Lord, let me help you out a little bit here. Is they don't view the box score like that, right? So what they view, like if the ball gets in their hands, obviously that's what we want to see, and that's great, right? Carte blanche. Like
You're talking about guys getting open, right? Doing their job.
They break the tape down differently. They break it down. Did you win or not? If the ball got to you, awesome. We can judge what you did with the ball in your hand, because once the ball gets in your hands, did you catch it or not? And then what did you do with it once in your hand? But before that, whether the ball hits you or not, they're judging did you get open or not. So when we go back to the missed opportunity for flow, or the missed opportunity for Trayshawn, we look at it as a missed opportunity, right? It's a missed opportunity for the quarterback when they go through the tape and do it. It won't be judged as a missed opportunity for the wide receiver. So I think also for a lot of fans, they don't understand that spectrum of it, but that's not how they look at it. Just so you know.
I'm
kind of
picking
like
up what you're putting
disappointed
down. My only caveat to that is, what separates some of these guys is their yak ability. And so you look at Flournoy, he catches that ball over his
because you don't
shoulder.
get that. No, thanks.
Right.
Because we
Right.
don't get to see because they get a different element of judging. Catch it or drop it. Because look, if the ball hits them, we don't know they're going to catch it. We assume they're going to catch it. They got to
Right.
catch it, right? There's one. And then two, once the ball is in your hands, to your point, what do you do with it after the ball's in your hands? Absolutely. There's a couple of different factors they don't get judged on. For sure, Lord. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, I got Sergeant Sue in the house here. Let me jump over to Mr. Sue or Sergeant Sue. What's going on, my boy?
Hey, how y'all doing, brother? How you doing, man?
What up, dog?
Sorry,
What are
I'm
your
just
thoughts on
joining,
this
man.
weekend?
I had my kids, man. I had to put them down and all that stuff. But yeah, man. Speaking on that, what's up, Nick? Speaking on that, I do agree. Like,
Yo, what's up,
obviously,
brothers?
yeah, I do agree. Obviously, it's like step one is like, do you win your route? Do you win your release? You know what I'm saying? Are you getting open? Are you creating separation? I get that for sure. But if you start thinking about it, like Turpin is like amazing. He's been doing really, really well in training camp, and I know he's probably not going to play this preseason. So this might be a moot point for him. But one of the biggest issues with him is he's always jumping for passes, he's dropping passes and stuff like that. So like a big part of the evaluation process is if you can complete that catch. Trayshawn Holden is doing phenomenal as well. But just the two training camps that I got to see him in, he had an issue keeping his feet in bounds. You know what I mean? So it's like these are things that like you do want some accurate passes to be able to evaluate those. And I do think it's like super imperative to get some quarterback play that's going to allow for the evaluation of these wide receivers for sure, man.
Yeah, and like to be fair to Milton, who's to say he's gonna suck or not gonna suck, whatever the second week, but that it is a big deal this backup quarterback spot because it really is unsettled. They know what they got in Will Greer. He might be the backup, but I mean, you just traded a pick. Now it was a low pick, but you traded a pick for Milton, and you kind of got to know what you got there. So I don't know what that line is, but it's got to be walked.
Yo, Lord, I don't know if it's me, but you cut out whenever you talk, and I can, it's like I can't understand what you're saying.
It's not you. He's been it's been doing it since I joined too.
Ah, shit.
All right, I gotta keep what I'm saying.
Terrible host. I'm just kidding.
I gotta keep what I'm saying short. Then I won't go off on tangents.
No, but I 100% agree, man. Like you did invest in Milton, so you got to see, what he brings. But it's like for me, I feel like regardless of like even if Will Greer were to go out there and like obviously he went out there, he scored a touchdown. I mean he looked great. Even if he goes out there and does that, I think still, which is unfortunate to Will Greer, but I think still they're carrying Milton as number two. So it's like I don't know that for sure, but I know the coaching staff does. I feel like they do, and if they do know that, then it's almost like I mentioned, it's almost like they're wasting opportunities if he's not performing. Which of course he can come out and just look phenomenally the second game, but if he's not performing, it's at some point as a coaching staff you have to think like, hey, it's our responsibility to evaluate these wide receivers, specifically that maybe fifth, sixth slot. So it's like, hey, we got to do what we got to do. Milton, hey, you're our guy. You're gonna be our guy going forward. Don't you worry about it, bro. Like we'll work on you all throughout the whole season. You know what I mean? But right now we have to figure out what we're going to do with our roster. You know what I mean? So again, I don't know. I've never been a freaking NFL coach, but I'm sure there's some sort of push pull there where you have to make those tough decisions and making sure that you're evaluating your roster properly.
Hey, let me ask y'all: does this microphone sound okay? Does it sound any different?
Sounds great.
It sounds good. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna talk for like 5 minutes and see if no, I'm just kidding. I had noise suppression on Twitter. I didn't even know that was even a thing, but it was on for some reason. So hopefully, I turned it off. Hopefully, that fixes it.
Still doing the same thing, bro.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
But it didn't until like 45 seconds, bro. So like, if you could just keep it short.
Yeah, like 10 seconds, 10-second increments. I got you.
Other than that, man, I guess I'll continue to go. Since I'm saying I'm late. Another guy who I'm looking forward to seeing, just because I've heard that he's done so great in camp, and I just really didn't see it the first preseason game, and honestly, I didn't see it whenever I was out in camp either. Is Damone Clark? You know what I mean? It's like this is, I feel like a make or break year for him. You know what I mean?
Fix this damn microphone.
Of course, obviously, there's high expectations. Obviously, there's injuries and stuff like that involved, but it's somebody that I've heard has been making some noise in training camp, but I haven't really seen it myself. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he could bring on the table. I think Leofau's been doing really, really well. I think the linebacking core in general is going to be great, especially with Overstrom coming back. So I want to see what Damone can do and if he can solidify himself as an impact player. You know what I mean?
I mean, Javon Clark in camp apparently has been phenomenal and getting one work, right? The problem is the only thing that we've got to saw on full display was a preseason game, and it wasn't good. So now we get to the second preseason game and see what he's done for the majority of the time translates.
Exactly, and he might just be a gamer. I mean, I'm sorry, he might not be a gamer, because like whenever, like, again, and I can only attest to the things I've heard and the things that I've seen. And whenever I was out there, I even kind of made like, I even kind of took a little jab at him on the show with Nick. If you guys get a chance to see it, but McQuamu was getting burnt, like just toast, bro. And then he comes out, and everything that he was doing wrong
Right.
in training
And
camp,
he
he
was
did it.
he was the highest rated PFF guy on the defense on Saturday,
I'm
90.4.
That's what I'm
Crazy
saying.
work.
That's what I'm saying. Everything that he was doing wrong in training camp.
Bass as well. Bass has been horrible in camp.
Mhm.
And then on the game, he was like, oh shit, they had to move him up the fucking lane. Yeah, there's some guys are just players when the lights are on. In practice, they suck. I'm with you, SG.
Yeah, man. That's what I told Dylan or Lord, Dilly over there. I told him because I saw McQuamu, he was getting burnt, and I was like, dude, as soon as there's a little bit of separation, he panics. He looks back at the quarterback, which creates even more separation, and like he's just playing the position poorly. And then the interception that he got against the Rams, he's running, he's trailing, but he catches up to the guy's hip first, makes contact with him, and obviously not PI contact, but makes contact with him, looks behind as he's on the hip, and then boom, the interception's right there. So I was like, dude, everything that he was doing wrong in training camp, he comes back and he perfects that during the game. So I'm like, dude, maybe just never practice, bro. Just go play the games or something. I don't know.
I'll tell you who I'm looking out for this game in particularly, and that's with the expectation that he actually plays. All signs are pointing that way currently, and it's Tyler Booker. And that's because obviously, you need that first round draft pick to come through. He was drafted for a reason, and that's to turn that interior offensive line into the superpower of the offense, right? Give Dak an absolute clean pocket to step up into and make those throws, even if things aren't great on the tackle front as far as blocking goes. So I want to see him, look as great as we think he's going to be starting the season out. So that, I mean, it's a kind of a boring answer to offensive guard, but that's definitely who I'm going to have my eyes on. And if he's not playing, it's going to be Phil Maffa. I want to see what Phil Maffa is going to do because I think he's going to get a decently heavy workload.
I love that answer, especially because if he is playing and Maffa's playing, the production of one can severely impact the production of the other. So it's like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to him. You know what I mean? I'm really looking forward to Booker going out there, and especially because if you think about who I assume is the biggest threat in our division and who's going to be week one. The Eagles, their interior pressure is crazy. So I'd like to see what this guard has and see what see how he's able to anchor down. And so I think those are two great answers, man. And Maffa, I thought Dylan hit it on the nose last time. He comped Maffa to LeGarrette Blunt, and I think, and ever since he said that, I can't not see it, bro. He does look like him. So yeah, man, I thought he had a really good first week, and I'm looking to see him build off of that for sure.
Needs to
Anybody
put
else?
on another
Anybody?
20 pounds or
Yeah,
so.
hey,
But yeah, LeGarrette Blunt is what he looks like.
Sergeant, it's Chris. Hope you're doing all right, man. Good to talk.
Great, brother. Great. I miss hearing your voice, brother.
There you go. Well, I'll throw a little bit out there for you, my friend. No, do you guys think that if we're talking about Maffa, do you think that if Maffa makes the team, do you think he's going to be traded in for one of the veterans that they signed? I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. And which one do you think it would be?
I think it's Miles Sanders at this point by default, just because he's been hurt.
Yeah,
But that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
I was very excited to see Miles Sanders as well, but yeah, I think that might be it. My bad, brother. Go ahead.
No, you good. No, I'm just thinking that there's no reason to carry two veterans, so Javonte Williams would get the edge over Miles Sanders.
I agree.
That was the answer I was hoping I'd get. Thank you, Angry.
For sure, man. For sure.
Anytime, bro.
Honestly, Deuce should be starting, but I'm just kidding.
Hey, now don't be hating on my boy. All right, my boy's done here, but he's still my boy.
But I also want to see Maurice Leafau continue to be a dog and solidifying everybody's mind that the green dot position would be okay if he was there.
You think they're going to keep playing Maris in the preseason?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm completely cool if they don't. I've seen enough.
I think maybe this game, just because of the Baltimore Ravens, the next game is the Atlanta Falcons. So yeah, you could sit the Atlanta Falcons game, but let's see what you got. I know it's against second and third teams, but let's see what you got against the Baltimore Ravens.
Man, they should play. They're not going to do it, but for me, they should play everybody. Incremental amounts, right?
Yes.
If you will, incremental amounts, but they should play everybody this game. It's not happening, but that's where I'm at.
I do miss that week 3 dress rehearsal that they used to have a couple years ago, back when there was 4 preseason games.
Yeah.
I do miss that. But I was making a point to some of the guys, like I think Shoddy would be, of course, I'm on the same boat. Like I would like everybody to play. One, because I'm selfish and I want to see some real, high speed ball. And two, I do think it could be beneficial. You know what I mean? But I think that it would be silly of Shoddy to come through and do that. And I get he wants to be physical and be fast and make a culture change and all that stuff. But if you think about it, like a lot of us are complaining, like, come on, Shotty, like, Mahomes is playing and blah, blah, blah is playing. So if Shotty comes through and he doesn't play anybody, we're going to be upset. Like, come on, bro. Eddie Reed's playing his guys. But if he does come through, first year head coach, comes through, plays Dak, Dak gets hurt. He's already injury prone. Like, I think that people forget just because Dak's a big guy that he's like super injury prone. So he's already injury prone. So if he comes through, he gets hurt. Now you're a first year head coach. You know what I mean? You have no quarterback. You really don't have a good like backup quarterback. And now you have all of Dallas Cowboys nation being like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. Dak hasn't played preseason since 2019. And now I think it's just he sets himself up for more failure than he does for success if he plays, Dak or any like real substantial starters.
I feel like if we see Dak, Lamb, and Pickens on the field, it's going to be for one drive and one drive only in the last week of preseason.
And I would take that. That's all I would want to see if it was the first team offense out there. Just one drive, one series.
Like y'all know how y'all remember how Tony Romo, they came back and he did that one drive after coming back off injury, but Dak Prescott was the quarterback. That's kind of how I want to see the offense in preseason. Just let him come out for one drive.
Mm-hmm. I agree from like an entertainment standpoint, and I'm gonna push back just so we're not all agreeing. Honestly, I like to play devil's advocate a little bit, but like I agree just for an entertainment
Hey,
standpoint.
I ain't trying to cut you out. I ain't trying to cut you off. I'll just let you know right now. I need to leave to go handle some college football 26 business before I get honey roasted and whatever it is. Man, Lord, appreciate everything. Everybody, if you're not in Storyliners community, you should be here. For those that are in this community, if you want to join the As a Star Returns community, please join that as well. Hit all the faces in here, all the folks. This has been a great conversation and what it should be. And let's build our community that way, in and out of the communities on the timeline. Let's make sure we're following people with the right kind of content and obviously the right kind of conversation. Sarge, I'm sorry to cut you off there real quick. I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all be safe, be blessed. Hey man, the week is upon us. Go Cowboys.
Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good night, man.
Take it easy, Nix.
That guy's so cool. Not just kidding.
Go ahead. What were you saying, David?
But no, man, I was basically just saying my devil's advocate take on that would just be like, what do you really benefit from one drive? You know what I mean? Aside from us like getting to see it and us being excited about it, like, do we really think that one drive makes them like, oh, now I'm a well-oiled machine, I'm ready to go? And if it is, and if it does only take one drive to make that happen, I'd rather that one drive happen in a meaningful game. That way, if somebody gets injured, at least they got injured in a meaningful game. I wouldn't want to risk one drive and something happens. It only takes one helmet. Dak throwing a ball, his finger hitting somebody's helmet, and now he's throwing hand is.
Here's what I do as the coach, and thank y'all for bearing with me and my mic issues. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it gets resolved here. But I'm suiting my guys up, but I'm not putting them in the game. I want them to go through the pregame rituals. I want them to go through the warm-ups. I want them to be in the locker room getting ready. I want them to experience all of that. They've experienced it their whole careers, whatever, but let's get them back in the flow. That's almost a whole process just in and of itself. Let's get them game time prepped, and then they don't have to actually go in the game or anything, but let's at least get them in the flow so that way week one, it's like, okay, let's just go ahead and do this again. Like it's not some big thing to get in that flow again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily hell bent on either way. If they play the starters for a full series, that's okay. I mean, obviously we hope for the best in that scenario, and if they don't, I think that's okay too. Um, the only thing is, I just keep cautioning people, man. I think this defense is going to get off to a slow start, so preferably you want the offense to be ready, not have any rust, right? And just come out firing on all cylinders because, in my opinion, we're going to have quite a few shootouts in the first half of the season until the defense gets their legs underneath them and we get some of these guys back that we so seriously need, right? In order to function the way that we want to in this within this scheme. So that's just really my whole, view on it. I would prefer that, Dak throw a couple passes in live action, but again, it's a risk reward thing that you're weighing for multiple reasons already explained.
Well, I mean, honestly, if it was up to me, I would just put the offensive line out there. I want my starting offensive line to be out there, get continuity, timing up against a different team. Like, that is the one unit that you really want to get out there and kind of just work together against an opposing team, not your own guys and stuff like that. Even if you ran the ball 3 times for fucking 9 yards and you punt it, I don't care. Like, I want those guys to get out there and it's like they get them comfortable with the guy next to them, because that is a one position I think you have to have continuity with. And how much continuity are you building on 3 plays or 6 plays or however long it goes? Um, Probably not a ton, but it is timing. You have to understand kind of, the guy next to you, what he's kind of looking at, what you're looking at, and having conversations when you're watching tape, just even if off a couple plays for the offensive line is huge. So I don't know. If it was me, I would love to see the starting offensive line, even if that means Milton's back there and Phil Maffa or Malik Davis. I don't really care, but I would love to see the offensive line out there for sure.
I mean, to your point though, I want to see the exact same thing on the opposite side of the ball, right? The defensive line needs to get in perfect timing with facilitating these stunts. The big dudes need to get their footwork, all in unison with each other, the guy next to him, and even the edge rushers, right? So I mean, we're this defensive scheme is predicated on a decent amount of stunting, right? To open up
Stunning and
these.
timing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and then you also need the linebackers having their timing, coming forward and filling in those gaps. Like, and it's something that we saw them seriously lacking in this first game, right? Didn't see a lot of linebackers filling gaps where they should have been. Again, I just you want everybody to gel going into week one, especially for a side of the ball that I expect to struggle coming out of the gate.
I think there was just a lack of aggression, dude. I don't. I'm
That's
not saying
fair.
they were. I don't. I'm not saying they were phenomenal on defense. The defensive line obviously wasn't great, but I mean, we're looking at like third string defensive lineman that was out there for the most part. Linebackers wise, like, it felt like we're watching Damone Clark playing like Damone Clark. I know that sounds weird. It felt like outside of Maurice Leafau, it felt like we watched a bunch of LVEs out there. We were not driving through the tackles. And that's been a common issue for us for years. And I think it's just something in quote unquote the culture. It's something that we've instilled in these players that is like, you watch the Ravens and sure you can say, well, look what kind of players they draft. They draft different type of players. I don't totally disagree with that. But at the same time, if I don't run across a MFer's face over and over and over and over again, I'm gonna get benched. Then, culturally speaking, in your mind, you're not gonna run through a dude's face over and over and over again. Shout out Marshawn Lynch. And I think it's just something that's kind of like ingrained in these players from the Dan Quinn era, and it's hard to break them out of it. Maurice Leafau, he played in a defense where guess what you did? You ran across the mother face over and over and over again. So I don't know, man. I think it is a cultural thing that was here, or whether we brought it from other colleges. Bad evaluations, not guys that you necessarily want to set a tempo with on defense. And I don't know if you're going to be able to fix that with a Damone Clark. I don't know if you're going to be able to fix that with some of the guys that we have on this defense as a whole. And that's a problem. And that's what I think you really need to evaluate. This team needs to do a better job of evaluating. Nobody saw Damone Clark and said he's that's a Pittsburgh Steeler linebacker, or that's a Baltimore Raven linebacker. And we need more of those guys on our team. Unfortunately, we don't have many.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the avenue to possibly an answer for that is that we do have a full new coaching regime, obviously on both sides of the ball. There's not really any pet cats that get, just a free pass to stick around, whether it's bad play or not, that keeps them out on the field because of a paycheck or whatever the case may be with that. And hopefully they pull these guys, right. You have a really bad series, and the next guy up now you try and see what you can do, and if you prove your place, you keep it, right. And I just think hopefully that's what the culture is, on that side of the ball, and we'll just get the absolute best players out on the field every week.
Sanborn, what college did he go to? Do we know?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I don't either. I was wondering. I
I
honestly, I
believe
haven't
he went
watched.
to Wisconsin, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong.
I thought it was.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Well, they have a specific type of linebacker, and those linebackers are, guess what? The type of linebackers that are going to run across someone's face over and over and over again. So, Kenneth Murray, what's his play style? I think I think they are building towards what we're talking about. Now, top to bottom, it's not there, and that's why when you see a Damone Clark out there, you're like, this is just not good enough. You pretty much say that every time he touches the field for the most part. Um, I think they want a specific type of linebacker. And honestly, I think there's only really one type of running back or linebacker that really works in the NFL. And it's a guy that is going to run across your face over and over and over again. He's going to drive through his tackles. He's going to put his body out there and whatever it takes to get the player down. And we've just absolutely lacked that for probably 10 to 15 years outside of having a guy like Sean Lee that played with reckless abandonment. So I think we're heading in the right direction in linebacker. Are we all the way there yet? No, but I think we got the guys, and we got the type of guys that we're actually going to be looking to move forward with in the future, whether it's free agents, draft picks, or hopefully we re-sign some players. Although at this point, that's probably hard to believe.
We said the last 10, 15 years we haven't had a linebacker like that. I won't say the last 10, 15 years we've had this issue that I'm about to speak on, but I will say in recent years we haven't really had a great defensive lineman, especially in the interior. And that's imperative for linebackers to be able to, read the flow of the offensive line, find their keys, fill in their gaps. You know what I mean? And run downhill and make those splash plays. And it's just really hard to do that when you have a guard in your face, or you have the center is like coming, not not coming on you, but like coming towards you. You know what I mean? It's like
Hey yo,
yeah, I'm saying, bro. But
yeah, I agree with you, but
yeah.
none of that has anything to do with running through your tackle. You know what I mean? Like our guys get to the ball carrier and just try to grab them and take them to the ground versus just going straight through them. And it's been a common theme for us. I mean, LVE was the same way. You can say it was the neck injuries and stuff like that, but you can't use that as an excuse because guess what he had in college? Neck injuries. So if going into the draft, you're drafting somebody that has neck injuries, why are you drafting him in the first round in the first place? And I'm not poo pooing on Damone Clark. Yeah, what was he, a fifth round pick or whatever? He had a back injury or a neck injury as well. So, maybe this is what he is. And maybe it's because of the injury. But again, it's hoping you found a hidden gem because he was injured. Well, maybe you're just getting an injured player or somebody that's a shell of what he once was. But absolutely to your point, having defensive linemen to keep your linebackers clean so they can go get downhill and go make a play, absolutely. But my issue is once they're in position to make a play, they don't actually make it, and I a lot of it has to do with just a little bit of reckless abandonment when you play football,
I,
especially
and
at linebacker.
And I agree with you. I do think that that's contagious, like for the defense in general. Like when you have a hard hitter on the defense, you have a thumper on the defense, it makes everybody else kind of like elevate their game and kind of feed off of that. And I think that's what made, defenses like the Ravens and defenses like the Steelers and the Bears, you know what I mean? Like defenses like that, is they always had like a strong leader, a strong, not necessarily like a vocal leader,
Right.
although they may have been as well, but they have somebody out there that's making it happen, and it makes everybody else kind of want to get in on that. The same way as like when one guy gets an interception, the other guys want interceptions, or like when one receiver gets a touchdown, the other receiver, it's just one guy can elevate everybody around us. And
You need to have like a pass the baton guy, right? And we really
mhm.
haven't had that on the D line, especially interior D line, and linebacker. Like we haven't had a guy to pass the baton to the next guy and say, "This is how you play This is how you play linebacker in the NFL." Watch me for a year or two. Here, young buck, it's your turn to take over. Like we just haven't had any linebackers to really do that. Sean Lee would have been the only guy in probably the last 15 years that really had the cachet and ability to really be that type of guy. But how can you be that guy if you're missing half your career to injuries? So we just really haven't had a guy to be a pass the baton. We haven't had a Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman to pass it off to a Fred Warner or, go
I
to the
think we
Ravens and Steelers and all those other teams.
Though we didn't draft him, I do think we had something like that in Eric Kendricks with Maris Leofau. You know what I mean? Kendricks came in here, Leofau got to watch him, sort of pass the baton to him, you know what I mean? But other than that, I do agree with your sentiment. And when I think about our hardest hitting players, unless I'm just having a brain fart, I mean, even though he like was regressed last year, I think that Donovan Wilson, Dono, was probably one of the strongest hitters on our team I mean, not last season, but just within the last couple of seasons. I don't really think about Dallas Cowboys really laying the wood.
Well,
As
that's part of the problem, and I agree with you. Like Dono might be our hardest hitting tackler on the team. Outside, I do think Leofau is going to be that guy. I do think we have somebody in Kenneth Murray. Um, but he's on a 1 year deal. We'll see whether the Joneses want to pull out, the checkbook and a pen, and maybe send over something to an agent here or there. But yeah, I mean, we've kind of for the most part lacked that type of player, and the teams that have been feared and have had feared defenses typically have three or four of those players on their defense.
I honestly think that Sanborn's the one to watch between him and Murray, as far as a guy that can flash and make big plays when they're called upon. I saw a lot of that from him in his last season's tape. But as far as having a linebacker that makes big plays, and I won't say he was out there crushing guys, but amping up everybody else on the defense when he made big plays before he got hurt was absolutely overshown. I think that was a little bit of oversight not mentioning him, because he was one of those guys that just brought the level of intensity up, not necessarily everybody out there decleating people because of what he was doing, but he was certainly causing a stir that amped up his teammates around him, and to the point of not really having interior defensive play that was, up to par for what we need. It's kind of just been Osa and subpar play next to him ever since he's been here. And I think it's a little unfair to Osa, because you're absolutely a product of who's playing next to you at that position. And, the snap count percentage wise that he's had from being a rookie is way more than he should have. And we saw that in his first two seasons. He got worn out as the season got long in the tooth, and he kind of just I, I faded out a little bit, right? It's not really too fair to get on him for that, but he absolutely, his abilities waned as the last few weeks got here. So, he's never had a legitimate running mate, man. And the interior of the defensive line, you absolutely need someone that's at least adequate, right? And I just again think that he's had subpar play next to him since he's been here.
Well, you need to be 4 to 5 deep at defensive tackle. We're lucky to be 2 deep most years. You know what I mean? Like, we've absolutely ran these guys into the ground because we either one can't evaluate players that fit a scheme that we're going to run, but two, we don't have an identity offensively or defensively to say this guy fits. Nobody sits here and says that guy's a Dallas Cowboy based on the way he plays, because the way we play defensively changes every 3 years when we get a new defensive coordinator. It's a whole different defense, changing this up. That's why you never have continuity, and you never have, once you go from one DC to the next one, it's like, does this guy fit the scheme? And you look down the roster and it's like, well, this guy doesn't, Mozzie doesn't fit in this scheme. This guy doesn't fit in that scheme. Like, it's just, we don't have an identity, and smart teams have stick to kind of a blueprint in which they want to build their team. That way it's like it's easy to evaluate too. I mean, you think the Ravens have a hard time evaluating, safeties or linebackers? For the most part, they don't. Does it mean that they don't get one wrong here or there? Sure they do, but they're able to evaluate based on what they've seen in a track record of 20 plus years of this is what a Steelers linebacker looks like and a Steelers safety looks like. We just don't have it.
Yeah, so saying with your point there, that's a good point. The other thing is, you're talking about Sean Lee teaching LVE, and before LVE left, LV was teaching Overshown. Overshown always depended what they were inseparable. But the last time we had defensive tackles was Malik Collins and Tyron Crawford. But as far as we say defensive coordinator goes, you had Dan Quinn. He kind of just fall off the thing, and then you had that 1 year of you lost your whatever. You just bring in um, Zimmer, but now you have Eberflus. He's probably going to be here for the next few years, hopefully. Then your defense will gel together. We won't go through another defensive coordinator. So you got Overshown and Leo Fowl, and also for with your other defensive ends and like Parsons and Nealon and the up and comers we have in here with Fowler and them. Even though Fowler might only be here for a year, something like that. But those having the same defensive coordinator for a couple years in a row will help. It will work well with Dan Quinn for a while, but I think he Eberflus like this once he gets a system in. And they get the games under their belt, just like last year. Couldn't figure out the system. Then they figured out halfway through the season. Hopefully, it'll be sooner this year. And on that message is that. Have a good night, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah,
get
thanks.
Up in the morning.
Thanks, Rick. Hey, y'all, we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate y'all sticking with me through my technical issues here. But listen, anybody who's still around, appreciate y'all joining. We're going to have on Saturday, me and Sergeant Sue here. We're going to be doing a YouTube live stream, react, all that during the preseason game here against the Ravens. So tune in. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/LordDilly. Shout out again to my boy Nix, who was in here earlier, in his community as the star turns. Anybody in here that you liked what they said, click on their little icon, follow them. And listen, I hope you all have a blessed and good night.
All right, dude, go watch your K-pop Demon Hunters.
All right, bro. Listen, I listen to it every day. All right, I got these kids, and I like it.
It's a great movie.
It is. I watched it yesterday. I'll probably watch it tonight. So.
And my soda pop.
Your favorite song, yeah.
All right, y'all. See